Billy McDonald.
And
you were at this contest.
Yes, I was.
You've been in many of these.
Well, you know I'm uniquely qualified to talk about this game and any other SC UCLA game because I went to both schools at one time or another. I started out at UCLA, went to USC, and don't think the good folks at UCLA remind me that every single time I call a game or I'm on campus.
So when you went to games as a student, as an undergrad, you sat on whatever side you were writing the checks to at that time.
Or wherever the better-looking girls were. In that given year.
Let's talk about 96, a year that really didn't look good coming in. These two teams combined 9-11, neither one of them going anywhere.
Well, you remember for USC, they had national championship aspirations to start the season. They were, what, number 7 preseason. John Robinson thought it was one of his best teams, and for some reason, for one reason or another, USC fans can figure that out. It all fell apart. For UCLA, not as high was the expectation level. Bob Toledo was coming in as his first year. I know you want to talk about that in a second. They were 4-6 coming in, had a couple of tough losses to some really good teams, Tennessee and Michigan, early on. So this was their, as it is, many years, their big game of the season.
You mentioned the two coaches, Robinson and Toledo, and really the pressure was on Robinson here because second stint, he couldn't beat the Bruins.
Huge. How hot was that seat? Robinson was as good as gone.
Yeah.
A lot of people said as good as gone. It was only the Notre Dame game the next week that probably really saved his hide. We don't want to give away what happened in this one, though. But for Bob Toledo, here's a great offensive mind coming in after Terry Donahue had filled that position for 20 years at his alma mater. Toledo had a couple of great coordinators. Al Borges, great innovative mind offensively, and Rocky Long, whose go-for-broke defense was good sometimes and wasn't so good other times, was real interesting to watch all season long.
How about the quarterbacks? Brad Otten, who finally gets the #1 spot after switching off with Wachholtz for so long, and Cade McNown, the kid from Oregon for UCLA.
Yeah, well, of course, Otten came in, the gunslinger. Everybody thought that he was going to be good, and he was. Brad Otten had an outstanding season. Cade McNown, that linebacker mentality, he had started the year before and led UCLA to a victory as a true freshman. The last guy that did that was a fellow named Tom Ramsey, who I've worked with the last few years. But Cade, the left hand, you know, the great thing about Cade McNown, he just has a knack for the game, a knack for any game, any athletic game, and he's a true leader for UCLA, and I think he showed it in this game.
McNown, he used to kill us, and I'm a Trojan, so I remember this. Every time he gets out of the pocket, he's more dangerous because he makes things happen.
Absolutely, and that's what, you know, defenses hate that, and Cade McNown does that as well. And he really grew as a passer, I think. But what he did grasp from day one from at UCLA and in the college system was just a knowledge of the game. The guy's a football player, and he knew what was going on. And he was ready for this. After going in the Coliseum the year before and beating UCLA, he was ready for the atmosphere. He was ready for the hype.
Yeah, and he was living up to it. Let's take it back now. November 23, 1996, SC and UCLA at the Rose Bowl.
A couple of moments ago, the Bruins of UCLA, led by head coach Bob Toledo, out to the Rose Bowl field. And, of course, the world-famous cheerleaders, song girls from the University of Southern California, all the pomp and circumstance, the battle for Los Angeles. Great day after a couple of miserable days of rain and wind and cloud and yuck. The Rose Bowl, clear and beautiful again, 74 degrees, and the wind really absolutely no factor today. JR, John Robinson, his second stint here at USC, 0-3 versus UCLA. This time around, 0-2-1 versus Notre Dame. But you see his success in the other game. And, of course, this is the final home game for the seniors here at UCLA. They had a special introduction and a hug now from Coach Bob Toledo.
That's special, and it's good to see. Bob Toledo, of course, has been in the UCLA program now 3 years. He was 2 years previous to this the offensive coordinator for the Bruins. So he spent some time with these guys, but it's a nice farewell to the seniors.
Interesting that Bob Toledo is 5-0 in this series. He was undefeated when he was under John Robinson on the SC staff against UCLA. And as offensive coordinator for Terry Donahue, he is 2-0. So he's never lost in an SC-UCLA game. Our kickoff today, of course, is being brought to you by Coors, and Greg Andrzejek will kick it off to two great ones. And they are both lined up together, R.J. Soward and Chris Miller. Shame on UCLA if they get the ball to number 18, R.J. Soward, second in the country in kickoff returns. He's returned 2 for scores, averaging 32 a return, and we all know how miserable UCLA's kickoff coverage has been. But this one is driven through the end zone, and SC will take it on the 20. And the quarterback, of course, is Brad Otten, 6'6", 235, and a senior. What an up-and-down year it has been for number 10. He is 15-6-1 as a starter. In this game last year, he threw 2 touchdown passes. And the key today for Brad when throwing the ball, quite obviously, is how his young and inconsistent offensive line will protect him. DeLon Washington gets the start at tailback for SC. 2 tight end set for the Trojans, something UCLA does not play well against. Inside handoff, Rodney Sermon going to get to maybe 3 yards. Here is our lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and there's some changes for both teams. There's the line for SC. We've been talking about how young they are, but they are maybe, as Tom Ramsey said, the biggest collegiate offensive line he has ever seen. Jeff Dilts, get him out of there. Get John Allred in there, starting at tight end for USC. He's back after missing a few games. We'll give you the change to the UCLA defense, and it's a big one in a moment. On second down, Washington got first down out across the 30 to the 32. He's stopped by Abdul McCullough. They'll move the chains for the Trojans. 10 yards and a first down for SC. For UCLA, they have been playing a 3-man front all year. But with their linebackers thin, they are going to a 4-2-5. And there is your front 4, led by senior Travis Kirschke. Wilmer and Ward are the 2 linebackers, and the 5 DBs. Remember, Hassani Abdul-Salam, formerly Andy Colbert. Otten, once again, give it off to Washington, trying to get outside. Now cuts inside, pulls his way to the 40-yard line, where it'll be second down and short. And now we bring in Tom Ramsey, and this is exactly what SC wants to do, is we'll check a flag at the 30-yard line. They want to run the football.
Yes, they do. And I tell you, number 24 is going to get a lot of carries today, Bill. There's a flag on the call. Let's hear the penalty.
10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
I think it's very evident right off the bat. You see SC coming out in a 2 tight end formation. They're going to play smash ball. UCLA counters with 4 down linemen. Right here, see if we can't see the penalty that was thrown on the interior right there. Washington was swarmed on by some Bruins, but right now, first and long for the Trojans.
First and 22 for USC at the 20-yard line. Once again, it's Washington. He's wrapped up right at the line of scrimmage, going nowhere on that first down play. Brian Wilmer, the undisputed leader of the defense, 15 tackles, 14 of them unassisted. Last week, Darren Klein was also there to help wrap up.
Wilmer had a career day last Saturday versus the Wildcats, although that's one game they want to forget. Arizona was able to dominate in certain situations with 2 tight ends. I'm sure SC comes in. They obviously watch that film. Wilmer, of course, number 7 in the Pac-10 in tackles, right there, 92.
I think you could do the math, 9.2 tackles per game. This is UCLA's 11th and final game of the year. Otten steps up in the pocket. Now pressure, down he goes at the 21-yard line. That has been a problem for the Trojans all year, protecting number 10. Jeff Ruckman, the sack, along with Anthony Cobbs for UCLA.
If there's one thing UCLA would like to do, exactly emulate this drive each time. Put SC in a 3rd and long situation. SC's going to come with 4 wideouts now, but look at the pressure right there applied to Otten, and that's been a concern all year for the Trojans, blocking people.
UCLA, by the way, has a couple of new blitz schemes that they put in this week. We'll try to recognize them for you and pass that along when we see it. Chris Miller in motion for the Trojans. Quick slip screen to R.J. Soward. He can really move without the football. There goes R.J. Soward. He could go. R.J. Soward at midfield. They're not going to catch him. R.J. Soward. No, they do. Down at the 14-yard line. Hassani Abdul-Salam grabs the speedster. 66 big yards, and the Trojans are in business in Bruin territory. This guy is dynamite right there, and he just showed the Bruins.
I've always said in this game, great players make great plays. R.J. Soward, you're going to hear an awful lot from this young man, the true freshman out of Fontana High. It's a little slip screen, and then he's off to the races. Hassani Abdul-McCullough, right by close by Muir High, Pasadena, able to track him down right there. 2 speedsters, but R.J. Soward turning a short pass into a huge gain.
DeLon Washington, the single set. He's going to get the football, moving left. Washington, down he goes at the 11-yard line, gain of maybe 1. Weldon Ford made the stop. Back to Soward for a minute. You hear this all the time from football coaches. We want to get this guy the football more. They've been saying it about R.J. all season long. He's only caught 9 balls. That was number 10. Hey, you know what, Coach Robinson and Mike Riley, you got to get him the football more.
And it's amazing. On the 9 catches he had previous, he only averaged 24 yards a catch. Get him the ball. Exactly. A 66-yard gain. Keep feeding it to him.
He has the longest catch in USC history for a touchdown, 97 yards against the Illini earlier. Otten over the middle, in and out of the hands. That's been a problem too. 53 drops this year for SC receivers. And Chris Miller, all of a sudden, he hasn't been able to catch the last couple of weeks. The 5'11", 180-pound senior. It'll be a 3rd down for the Trojans.
Bill, one thing UCLA has been able to do as of late, they've been getting pressure, a lot of pressure on the opposition, the opposing quarterback. 23 sacks all year long, 17 sacks in the last 4 games for the Bruins. They've been applying a lot of pressure. They're starting to understand the Rocky Long defensive philosophy.
Here's where you might look for John Allred, number 89, or Mike Bastianelli, number 25. Otten looking, rolling, has time, caught down, 1st down. It looks like where they spotted it's Rodney Sermons. I believe he's got it inside the 2, which would mean a 1st down and goal for the Trojans. Rodney Sermons, by the way, out of the backfield, the number 1 receiver for USC, but there's a flag down, and it might go against SC. There's our referee, Pat Flood, and it's going against the Trojans.
That might be an illegal man.
Ineligible receiver
Ineligible
downfield.
receiver. What happens?
10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat 3rd down.
What happens on that play, it's a waggle pass, and you're trying to fool them. You're trying to show counter run, and a lot of linemen sometimes bury their guys or push guys down the field. Watch Sermon sneak out of the backfield. They're going to see the offensive linemen are definitely down the field. Number 74 right there, the big fella, Ken Bowen, 6'8", about 320. Hard guy not to miss.
3rd down again. Miller and Bastianelli are the wideouts to the near side, and USC wants a timeout. We're in the early going. 1st series of the game, and SC is driving. 11:17 remaining in the 1st. No score. It's SC and UCLA on Fox. On Fox Sports West, Bill McDonald and Tom Ramsey and the crew here at the Rose Bowl. It's SC and UCLA. John Robinson's team, out of the gate, they've done very well, outscoring their opponents 64-30. The defense has been tough. Allowed only 3 first-quarter touchdowns all season long. Now Brad Otten and the Trojans looking to get on the board early. 3rd down conversion. USC just under 40%. That puts them in the middle of the pack in the Pac-10. They need to get down to the 2. In motion is Soward. Otten straight drop. It's a screen to the middle to Lavelle Woods, and he's not going to get a 1st down. He's corralled down at the 10-yard line, and it'll be field goal time for USC. Anthony Cobbs led the charge for the Bruins. So a couple of key penalties to the Trojans. One denies them a 1st and goal inside the 2, and they'll have to settle for an Adam Abrams field goal attempt. They'll spot it at the 17. It'll be a 27-yard attempt. There's Abrams' number on the year. Look at that. He's had 4 blocks on the season. That's an alarming number to look at. Ball down, kick up, low kick, as you can see, but he lines it through, and USC is on the board. With 10:32 remaining in the 1st, and that's something to think about later on in the game.
Looked like one of your wet shots right there, Bill. A low liner. Looked like he bladed it right there. Abrams getting a real break, and I tell you, the reason you have 4 blocks is just that. Low trajectory creates a lot of problems.
We're back with more. Rose Bowl, SC on top. A 27-yard field goal. Interestingly, that's only the 6th field goal attempted all year against UCLA. Just half a dozen. Abrams drives it through. 9 plays, 70 yards. The big one, of course, Soward, 66 yards on the screen.
And what's interesting, that's only the 2nd field goal that's been successful against the Bruins.
Bruins 4-6 overall. Trojans 5-5. No, the first time since 1958 that neither team has come into this game with a winning record. This ball will be booted into the end zone, and the Bruins won't take it out. Touching it there is Jimmy McElroy, and Cade McNown, the southpaw sophomore from West Lynn, Oregon, will take the controls from Al Borges, offensive coordinator, and the UCLA Bruins. There's Cade. His season, like UCLA's, up and down. The big stat when you look at it, the 15 interceptions That's a Pac-10 high. He still has thrown for over 2,000 yards and 11 touchdowns on the season. They will make things simple for him. In the backfield, it's Skip Hicks. 2 tight ends, 2 wides. Jamal Clark and Grieve are the tight ends. Up the middle it goes to Hicks. He's hit hard, and down he goes at the 22. A lot has been said through the media from the SC defense that they are going after the football when Skip Hicks has it. He has that fumbleitis at times this year. Here are our lineups brought to you by Southwest of UCLA. They are missing a key component. Andy Myers broke his leg. Sean Gully in instead at right guard. Skip Hicks will rotate time. Expect a lot of Keith Brown at the tailback position for the Bruins. We'll get to the Trojan defense in a moment. On 2nd down and 8, McNown. Straight drop, has time, over the middle, knocked away by Chris Claiborne, the true freshman, who eventually might be the best ever at the linebacker position at the University of Southern California. And we speak of the defense, and here it is for USC. Darryl Russell is the stud in the middle. Matt Kennelly, 2-time All-Academic All-America. Those 4 are good. Chris Claiborne, we just mentioned him. Sammy Knight, though, the leader and the hardest hitter on the team. Moving up from strong safety. Brian Kelly has a score to settle. He's the one that was burned last year on the trick play. McElroy to Jordan. There's Claiborne, number 55. We'll see him quite a bit through the afternoon. On 3rd down, McNown in trouble. Down he goes at the 10. Matt Kennelly led the charge. His 4th sack of the year. Claiborne there, too. It'll be 4th down for the Bruins.
The Trojans, Billy, that time, pre-snap read, 8 guys close to the line of scrimmage. Last week, the Wildcats from Arizona blitzed the heck out of Cade McNown. They couldn't figure it out. Right there, the Trojans bringing a lot of heat right there. Kennelly, Darryl Russell, they're all around, and that's a big play by Claiborne, the true freshman, having a stellar year.
Chris Saylor's having a good year, too, for UCLA. He's standing in his own end zone, though. Chad Morton, he's a good one, too, returning punts. He's going to get it at around the 50-yard line. Morton at the 49, escapes 2. Here he goes, trying to turn the corner outside. Morton, the freshman. He's going to get driven down at the 44-yard line. 40-yard punt, 8-yard return. Waswa Saranga, who moved over to the Bruin program when the University of Pacific dropped theirs, makes the stop for UCLA. It'll be 1st and
Take a look at
10.
Morton. He almost breaks. They contain Wilmer able to grab his shirt, and then Waswa Sarango able to wrap up, make a nice tackle on Morton.
2nd possession for USC. There's Chad. 8:56 remaining, 1st quarter, 3-0 Trojans. Sermons in Washington in the tight backfield. Washington. Been a disappointment this year, Tom. He's averaging only 3 yards a carry, coming in with less than 250 yards on the year.
The Trojans' offensive line, they've had a lot of injuries throughout the season, Bill, and Chris Breimer obviously is a big reason, and it seems to me he's a real cog in that interior line. He, of course, was out for a few weeks, a broken bone in his foot, and I think they weren't able to mesh as an offensive line. It created a lot of problems for DeLon Washington.
On 2nd down, the ball over long 6. Washington again, good hole up the middle. And it stood up right at the 35-yard line. He's a couple of yards short of a 1st down. The 3rd down is Travis Kershke, the senior lineman, who has had quite a career at UCLA. Made the stop in the Bruins.
You see the interior right there, number 71, Travis Claridge, a big right offensive guard who will be as good as any offensive lineman to ever come out of Southern Cal.
He's in the mold of all the good ones.
Compared to Brad Buddy, compared to Munoz. Just a freshman, 6'6", 300 pound, number 71, Claridge.
Walters gets the ball, hit at the line of scrimmage, and he's not going to get it. That was the 12th rush of the game for the Trojans, as opposed to only 3 throws. And it'll be 4th down in decision time for John Robinson. He's in no man's land right now with the 36. He might just go for this one.
I think if it was close, he'd go for it, but Walters gets buried right here by the Bruin defense. Kershke coming down the line. Number 98, captain for today's game. He just puts the hammer on Walters.
Here's your statement call right here. 4th down and 3 as the Rose Bowl comes to its feet. Otten will throw. Got a man. 1st down, Sermons and more. Down the Miller gave chase, knocked them out of bounds on 4th down, 14 yards, and an SC first down.
UCLA a week ago against Arizona, 3 big 4th down plays. The UCLA defense shuts them down 2 of the 3 occasions. Right now, you got to be looking for number 5, Rodney Sermon's coming out of the backfield. He's their leading receiver. A missed assignment right there. Nice job by Otten to get the ball to him.
He's essentially a 3rd receiver in 2 wideout sets. As you mentioned, he has 4 touchdown catches this year. DeLon Washington again in the backfield. He's going to get the football and moves the pile down to the 18-yard line. Sean Williams comes up from his DB position to stop DeLon Washington, who had quite a game versus the Bruins in the SC loss last year, had 152 yards in this game at the Coliseum. There are his season numbers. We will see Lavelle Woods. We will see Sean Walters. We'll see a whole bunch of bodies back there for SC. Nobody's really jumped out and taken the job.
When you think of Southern Cal, you know, they call it tailback U. They call it all kinds of things, but you're always looking for that go-to guy at tailback. They haven't had it.
SC now on 2nd down. Otten over the middle. In and out. Chris Miller couldn't climb the ladder. Kasani Abdul-Salam. Pretty nice defensive work that time. Incomplete to Miller, the senior. It'll be another 3rd down play for the Trojans.
SC has been plagued with drop balls. Before the game, I talked to Mike Sanford, their receiver coach. I said, Mike, I heard on the radio this morning, 53 drop balls. Well, it really doesn't matter. Kasani Abdul-Salam with a nice play just then, but I'm sure if people are keeping track, you need Stickum to catch those balls, right? But Mike Sanford said, hey, it doesn't matter what happened up until now. Today's the day. Judgment Day.
Look for Bastianelli here on 3rd down. Otten looking. Wants Bastianelli over the middle. He's doubled up. So over the middle. Touchdown, USC. R.J. Sowers. 19 yards and a Trojan touchdown. Tom, they were thinking Bastianelli too. I looked over the middle. He had 3 guys around him, and they forgot all about number 18.
The play starts off in the complete opposite direction. R.J. Soward becomes a football player and races back across the field, leaving the coverage in his wake. Otten able to stay alive, move in the pocket, keep his feet going. And he was real patient that time, waiting for R.J. Soward to come open. Delivers the ball on time, touchdown SC.
It's been all Trojans in the early going. Abrams, the extra point is good. 7 plays, 57 yards, and there's your hero of the game in the early going. R.J. Soward, the touchdown for the Trojans. They lead here on Fox Sports West.
One car polish proved that it can take the heat. New Finish. How much punishment can just one application take? It all started with a weather-beaten car. First, New Finish restored a showroom shine with no rubbing, no buffing. Then we let the hood broil in the scorching desert sun for 20 days and baked it under highly reflective mirrors that intensified the sun's rays 6 times. Is the New Finish finished? No way. After 52 heavy-duty commercial car washes, water still beads. New Finish, the once-a-year car polish.
New Finish, rated #1 by leading consumer magazines. Available at Pep Boys, Ecker Drug, True Value, Ace Hardware, Western Auto Parts America, Walgreens, Kmart, and other leading stores.
You're watching the best of USC and UCLA football on Fox Sports West 2.
We are back, Trojans. Reason to smile. Up 10-0, and RJ the man right now. Brad Otten. Boy, Mike Riley's really dialed him into some good calls in the early going, their offensive coordinator.
Couldn't have enough good things to say about Brad Otten. I asked him, can Brad Otten play at the next level? He said, Tom, he's as good, if not better, than Rob Johnson. Kyle Wachholtz, who's been on a taxi squad most of the year, right there. Riles talking to R.J. Soward. Get back to Tom Riley. A lot of interesting stories.
Mike Riley. Mike Riley. Tom Riley's our old newsball.
Thank you. You saw who was on the frame.
Bell kicks off, airs for UCLA. Bruins need field position, and Garrett's got it going. At the 30, little stutter step now onto the 38-yard line, and the Bruins have some room. 33 yards and a nice return for UCLA, but they're down 10-0. just as we blink. Greg, tell him the stop for SC. That's last week versus Arizona. UCLA really played well in the first half, and if you were with us, then everything fell in on them. Special teams, Cade threw an interception that went back for a touchdown, and the Bruins just folded up like an accordion in the second half.
Arizona's day was last Saturday because they have to face the Sun Devils today. So their day was last Saturday. They played well.
Up the middle, Skip Hicks. Across the 40-yard line. SC, the #1 pass defense in the conference. So you figure if you want to do anything offensively, you've got to establish that old run. And of course, Hicks has had some big games this year. 259 all-purpose yards and 4 touchdowns against Cal. Had 175 yards, a career high against Oregon. Most of those in the second half of the game. So he's explosive, but he's got to hold on to the football.
And as we saw a week ago, look for Keith Brown to spell him at times also. Keith Brown gives the Bruins a lot of outside speed.
Play action. McNown slings it complete to Danny Farmer. And that should be a first down in midfield. And that's where they'll spot it just across the 50 into Trojan territory. Farmer beat Dalen McCutcheon.
This is what you have to do. This is why you have to establish the ground game, because you play action. And you want to hold the linebackers in underneath. And right there, Farmer against McCutcheon. That's a nice matchup throughout the day, but you don't want it a lot. They'd like to have number 87 line up on the other side against Morton a few times. And it's interesting because a lot of times, #1, McCutcheon will play towards the field. Right now, he's into the boundary.
On first down and 10. One setback, that's Hicks. He'll get the football off the delay. Right there, George Perry wrapped him up. And speaking of wrapping up, I know all the Trojan fans who are watching this replay on Fox Sports West are saying that's been the problem all year long. It started with Curtis Enos in game 1 back in the Meadowlands in August. The Trojans haven't been able to tackle. They haven't been able to finish defensively because they've got some big, fast athletes.
Yeah, it was interesting. When you make the initial stops, you hope your defense swarms and you can jar the ball loose or wrap up, like you said, but it's a fundamental. It's a game of fundamentals.
Now, complete. This isn't going to go anywhere, though. Sammy Knight is all over Skip Hicks. There's your 3-year starter and strong safety, moved up to the linebacker position, defensive player of the week in the conference back on October the 26th.
And this is the element. The captain for the Southern Cal, Sammy Knight, comes in. He is a special player. John Robinson has made out astounding comments about him. He's a great player, a team leader. But right then, you see he's able to track down a running back. He actually beat Skip Hicks out to the sideline.
Third down, Tom. 3rd and 13 at the 48. This might go against USC. He might have been a little anxious. We'll see if the Bruins can gain 5 here. They're down 10-0.
Bill, I compare Sammy Knight a lot to Donnie Edwards, who played for UCLA. He came in originally as a strong safety for the Bruins. He's playing professionally now with the Kansas City Chiefs. But he gave you speed at the linebacker position, but you never wanted him matched up against a 300-pound guy because he might get buried.
4 wides in the game for UCLA. Cade McNown pressured to do a little inside screen, and this one is dropped from McElroy. So UCLA trying to take a page out of the Trojan book using the slip screen, but it's incomplete. Good pressure, even on a screen. Darrell Russell and company, and the Bruins must punt again.
It's interesting. You have 4 wides. You have a tight end stay in. Cade McNown gets crushed by Darrell Russell, and the ball, of course, squirts into the abyss.
You know, you're saying Cade McNown gets crushed. These are probably the 2 most hit quarterbacks in the country. Brad Otten and Cade McNown. They have both had about 4 years worth of hits in a year. Cook has the fair catch for SC, 36 yards, and the Trojans will have it at the 12.
And McNown, he suffered a hip pointer last week. He showed me the other day at practice. He said, hey, look at this. The thing was as black and blue as could be. I'm saying, how you doing? You know, it's not bad. Didn't hurt that bad. But you're right. He and Auden probably have a lot to talk about after the game. They're probably saying, hey, same thing happened to me against Washington. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Sometimes you just hope you get enough time. 3 seconds is a marvelous amount of time for a quarterback to read about 3 receivers, get your proper drop, and throw to the right guy.
Ron Washington can't get away from the initial hit. Sean Williams. Let's talk about him, Tom, because he is clearly, I think, the best player defensively for UCLA. He's got that NFL caliber stuff.
He is the playmaker of the defense. Brian Wilmer's having a great year, but Sean Williams, he's a safety, but right there he's lining up on the line of scrimmage. He takes on a blocker, and he makes a great play.
Word has it we may see him go both ways next year. Play a little tailback also. Remember, that's how he came into UCLA. A double duty possibly in 97 from Sean Williams. Second down, again, the run. Walters, not much. Now, remember the Washington State game in the second half when the Trojans ran and ran well. And that's when everybody was saying the rush is back. It was like old times. That was a combination of things because SC did play well. Washington State was a little thin defensively, and they ran right over them. But the Trojans couldn't turn that over to the next week against Washington, and it kind of all grounded to a halt after that.
Yeah, they set a team record in lack of rushing, minus 14 yards.
After
which
that
I'm sure
great second half.
they aren't proud of. And there was a lot of things written. Oh, hey, we're back rushing the ball, and then they got stymied by the Washington defense.
Good protection. Got Soward again. Nobody's there. Soward at the 40. He's out to the 45-yard line. How could they leave him alone? And R.J. Soward has just eaten the Bruins at the Rose Bowl. 30 more yards for the 5'11", 175-pound freshman, R.J. Soward.
And watch how they get him involved in, they motion him across, so all of a sudden, he becomes from an outside receiver, he becomes an inside receiver. The Trojans are great at setting that up. Mike Riley sometimes uses a cluster formation. You hide guys. You try to hide guys and gain mismatches. And right there, R.J. Soward became the invisible man.
Up until now, he's been the deep decoy. Now he's the main target. Fumble. No, it's Walters still with it. Sean Walters thought there was a fumble momentarily. Wilmer tracked him down there. Sean Walters, of course, it's been an interesting year for him. Suspended at the beginning. Coming on, really hasn't seen the times he nor the fans expected. Oh, it was a fumble. It was a fumble, and he picked it right up.
Sean Walters, actually, since this is one of him probably, close to his last game, he's not reading the fundamental book and just falling on the ball. He's, I'm going to pick it up, try and make something out of it. But I would venture to say he's been a disappointment for the Trojans. Not running the ball, not rushing the ball. We're only 112 went into the game.
Intercepted, threw it right to the man, Kasani Abdul-Salam. You know, it's interesting. Ott throws so much better over the middle of the field. When he throws those out routes, he just doesn't throw them as well. He was intended for Larry Parker, and the Bruins get a turnover.
Auden, who's done a good job today thus far, being efficient, Bill, taking time, finding the right guy. That time, really for no reason at all. He had time, not a lot of pressure on him. Goes to turn and throw to the sideline. Kasani Abdul-McCullough steps right in front of Larry Parker, who does not come back for the ball at all. And Abdul-Salam, of course, has number 4 for the year.
McNown throwing the other way. Got a man complete. This is Grieve. But Grieve can only get 5 or 6 yards. That's great defense by the Trojans coming back and pursuing Sammy Knight, the stop for USC.
Check it out. It's just a play action to the left and a slow screen back to Grieve. They've set this up in practice. They haven't showed it all year. Al Borges breaking some new wrinkles out for this game. My apologies to Kasani Abdul-Salam. He knew. I told him the other day, I haven't screwed it up yet, but I'm bound to.
Did it twice. Abdul-McCullough. Which makes sense because that's one of the players on the team.
I'm just glad it wasn't Abdul-Jabbar.
Hicks gets stopped by Russell. It'll be 3rd down.
Speaking of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the running back who played at UCLA, formerly Sharman Shaw, they were without his services last year in this game. He came in, had rung up over 1,000 yards. didn't have him. It was tailback by committee last year for the Bruins.
We will carry that thought into the second quarter. After one, SC on top, 10-0 on Fox Sports West.
Dodge Caravan is the most award-winning minivan in history. It's a Consumer's Digest Best Buy, one of Automobile Magazine's All-Stars, and one of Car and Driver's 10 Best. So how do you make the best-selling minivan in history even more appealing? You put it on sale, now with up to $1,000 cash back. And at $17,235, Dodge Caravan becomes the lowest-priced minivan in the industry. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
Every 10 seconds or so, a stop sign goes up somewhere in America. And every 30 seconds, a traffic light goes up. It's as hard on your car as it is on you. It's stop and go. Stop and go. Stop and go driving. Use Pennzoil, formulated for today's stop and go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil.
You're watching the best of USC and UCLA football on Fox Sports West 2.
R.J. Sowers. Now playing cheerleader after playing receiver during most of the first quarter. It's 10-0. Sonny Abdul-Salam, who's been chasing R.J. a lot of the afternoon, has that interception. He leads his team with 4 as we welcome you back to the start of the second quarter at the Rose Bowl. I'm Bill McDonald along with Tom Ramsey here on Fox Sports West, SC and UCLA. 3rd down and 4 at the Trojan 35. Cade McNown slips a little bit, then throws incomplete. Never got himself set, Tom, and misfired looking for Mike Grieve.
What happened to McNown when he went to set up, Bill, his plant foot actually slips, and he was able to recover. Watch his 5th foot, it plants, and that right there throws off his time, and he knows then he hasn't gotten the ball off on time. Had nice protection that time, too, by the line, who's actually done a good job of protecting.
Cook and Morton deep for SC. And Saylor has done a great job this year pinning the opposition inside the 20. That has been his strong suit, and this one is a low liner. There it is, inside the 20-yard line again. Not as good as he would have liked, but still effective at the 13-yard line. No return for SC. 10 seconds into the second quarter, 10-0 Trojans. Interestingly, as most of you know, this series has belonged to UCLA for the last 5 years. Longest current winning streak. Actually, it's the longest winning streak in the history of this series. Almost happened when you were playing, when USC had won 4 in a row. They almost won 5 in a row back in, what was the year, the Freeman McNeil touchdown year?
1980, and it's interesting. Had UCLA not won in 1980, Terry Donahue might not have been around for 20 years.
Yeah, he might have been fired at that point because he would have lost 5 in a row. And that's one of the reasons now why John Robinson, a lot of people are thinking his job may be in jeopardy because he hasn't beat Notre Dame at 13, actually SC, and of course he hasn't beaten UCLA.
In my notes this week, Bill, I wrote the rhetorical question, what does this game mean to the coaches? John Robinson's on the hot seat. We addressed that in the opening, but truly, with streaks going in the wrong direction, you have to be concerned. And there's a lot of concerned coaches on his staff.
I don't know if it's fair. You look at John Robinson's record, both pro and college, and it is so good. It is really a glorious record when you take a look at his teams and how he can turn them around and keep successful teams going. Now, let's go back to 1980. You were there on the sideline.
I started. Jay Schroeder comes in and throws a pass I'm sure he'd like to have back. Jeff Fisher, of course, the head coach of the Houston Oilers, and then the immaculate reception. Freeman McNeil outruns Ronnie Lott and Dennis Smith.
And you still won't call him by his real name, will you? Who threw the ball?
Number 10, I think.
Jay Schrader. According to my partner, it's something else.
I'm pronouncing everyone's name wrong today.
Hot, incomplete, wanted Bastianelli over the middle. It'll be 4th down for SC, and we'll see the #1 punter in the Pac-10 in just a moment.
Tomato. It depends on what side of the street
you didn't do that purposely at all, I know.
Brad Ott thus far, getting some good time to throw. Bruins unable to put a lot of pressure on him. Right now, Jim Wren, the leading punter in the Pac-10, back to kick.
Paul Guidry, because of that deep thigh bruise, has been a disappointment returning punts, averaging under 7 a return. If he picks this one up, he could go with it, but now he's just going to have to let it die at about the 37-yard line. He didn't want to make a mistake there. Turn one over to the Trojans. 43 yards, no return, and UCLA down 10. We'll get another crack at it in their own territory.
Guidry, it's interesting, he holds all the records for punt returns. He has a career average of over 10 yards, but the Bruins come in the worst punt return team in the Pac-10, of course, going against Wren. And this is a game of field position, Bill. Special teams are, again, going to play a big part of which team wins today. Momentum shifts. Said it last week, it would come down to special teams. UCLA gave Chris McAllister a huge return for a touchdown, but field position is the name of the game today.
Bruins on first down from the 36. Skip Hicks still in for UCLA, and he's not going anywhere. That defensive line so far has taken charge for the University of Southern California, but also give Chris Claiborne a little credit there, as he also was in on that stop for USC. Here are stats in the first quarter, Tom. Take us through the numbers.
Good look at number 55 right there. Southern Cal.
Second down and 10.
Lead in first downs. Obviously, take a look. UCLA has to rush the ball today. -5 thus far. Total yards. A little bit of an embarrassment for the Bruins in the first quarter.
Second down and 11. Cade McNown got his man. Complete first down out to the 48-yard line. So McNown on target. That's Jim McElroy, 19th catch of the season. Only 1 touchdown, which is a huge disappointment. McElroy threw for a touchdown last year against USC.
Take a look at McNown's thumb comes through right on Matt Kennelly's helmet, and it looks as though he hurt his thumb. He was shaking his hand, and I'll tell you, he caught it right on number 92's helmet.
Out of the I formation. Skip Hicks. Burst it up the middle. There goes Skip. And then he goes down. I don't know if anybody was near him. Hicks might have just tripped himself up down about the 36-yard line. 15 yards, and that was a strange play at the end.
Bill, and Southern Cal's lost to Stanford. This is what Stanford did. They hurt the Trojans right up the middle between the tackles. Right here, the power working awfully well for the Bruins. You see him slip. I tell you, the field this year, really the worst I've ever seen it. The Rose Bowl turf usually is a great surface, a nice track to run on, and this year it's painted green.
Well, it's for one reason and one reason alone. It was the soccer team that was here. The Galaxy played their home games here, and that really chewed up the Rose Bowl turf all season long. Bob Toledo's team down 10, but they have the ball. They're driving with 11:54 remaining in the second. Back at the Rose Bowl. Rob Wygod is our spotter, Dennis Mnuchin, our statistician, and Tom Kelly, TK, the voice of the Trojans, has worked his way into the booth. Actually, he's been here since the start. Enjoying himself. He's got the binocs on this play. Here's the first trick play of the game for UCLA. They're throwing it back to Hicks. He's got it and dropped it. McElroy threw it back to Hicks, who had it and dropped it.
You may recall this play from a year ago. I know Brian Kelly does. It's the same formation, the same movement that allowed McElroy to throw to Kevin Jordan for a big score last year's game. But take a look. They pull. They make it look like a reverse. Watch Skip Hicks continue down the sideline, and he flat out drops it.
Don't be surprised if there's 3 or 4 trick plays out of the bag. And Bob Toledo is the one who will call them all for UCLA. Not Al Borges. It's up to Toledo to pull the trigger.
Right there, a grand opportunity to have a first down.
Second down, McNabb, a little misdirection this time. Jamal Clark. Minimal yardage, down to about the 33-yard line. Brian Kelly the stop for USC.
Minimal yardage, but what it creates is 3rd and short. Actually, 3rd and shorter than 3rd and 10.
Here's the trick play last year, the one that Brian Kelly will remember.
Kevin Jordan lures Brian Kelly to sleep, and McElroy he said he never saw him. McElroy just heaved the ball down the sideline, and McElroy and McNown were the first people down there to lift Jordan high into the air, but it takes big plays to win big games.
Sammy Knight was down there also frustrated for the Trojans. on 3rd down and 6. Big down for the Bruins, trying to get back in the game here in the first half. McNown, good protection throw, complete, first down to the 26-yard line. 2 Trojans straight rolled over. Derek Ayers, Chad Morton made the play. They'll move the chains for the blue and gold. Now we talk about R.J. Soward, how the Trojans have to get him the ball more. Well, there's the guy that UCLA has to get the ball more to, and that is Derek Ayers.
And this is a great throw and catch right there. McNown able to spin it into Ayers. Ayers, who always has career games against Southern Cal, once again, either rushing the ball or catching the ball, coming up with a first down.
McNown, 6 out of 9, 35 yards, first down for UCLA. Fake reverse. Here comes Keith Brown. And he rolls down to the 20-yard line. Brown comes into the game with a couple of touchdowns and 132 yards on the ground. Darrell Russell, boy, he has done so well, especially considering the expectation level on him.
And Bill, I really believe there's 2 factions of SC players. There are players today that are playing for John Robinson, and then there are players, and I'm going to lob Darrell Russell into this group. He's leaving. He's going to become an NFL player. Defensive linemen are a premium at any level. The NFL needs people like Darrell Russell. Darrell Russell is looking to the NFL.
Best inside lineman UCLA will face all year. Under pressure, it's going to be complete, though. Good catch down at the 20-yard line by Derek Ayers. Had to stretch out. Sammy Knight was there for the Trojans, but that will be a completed pass, set up a 3rd down.
And I'm going to add this on Darrell Russell. He has the ability to be a big-time NFL lineman. He has wonderful fundamentals. Knock on him, yeah, maybe he didn't wrap up all the time, but if you're at the point of attack, you can coach guys to wrap up. That's not a problem. And when you're getting paid to wrap up, guys seem to wrap up a little better.
What do you like on 3rd down here for the Bruins?
I think you end up finding your tight end.
Or possibly Farmer, who's been a good 3rd down target. McNown throwing, intercepted, Sammy Knight, he's going to go. Sammy Knight for USC, 74 yards. Touchdown for the Trojans.
Momentum shifts, big plays. What happened? Big players make big plays. McNown throws in to a heap.
Bad throw. Horrible throw.
Darrell Russell with the pressure on top of McNown creates the play, turns in Keith Burns right there. You bet he's down there shaking hands with Sammy Knight. Keith Burns is he's on the bubble too, but right now the SC defense playing wonderfully. The Bruin offense still hasn't showed up.
Abrams. Tack it on, sneak it in. Sammy Knight, the distance with the pick. And USC is in charge, putting it to the Bruins in the 2nd quarter here on Fox. Traveler is here. The SC fans loving that. They love the score, 17-0. One of the reasons why Sammy Knight had an opportunity for his 5th interception of the year. Watch the hammer delivered by Darrell Russell.
Oh, right there. The big fella, all 6'4", about 305. That's a nice gateway there. I might add, the last time Trojans had a bye week coming into the SC game, unfortunately, I happened to start 1979, 35-0 at half. We had a goose egg. They had 35.
49-14 final. Pushes through the legs.
Thanks for the memories.
And the Bruins can touch it. McElroy. 4th consecutive game, by the way. Sammy has an interception for USC, so he's warm, to say the least. 9:19 remaining, first half. Trojans big right now, 17-0. As SC fans have known, first half has belonged to the Trojans this year. It's been 2nd half woes that have turned them into a 500 team. But on the other side of for UCLA, despair and some exercises for the SC cheerleaders. McNown's got to shake that one off. That was interception number 16 of the season. Inside handoff, fullback. Cheyenne Caldwell, nowhere to go. Anthony Sanford was there.
They just try to trap the middle, just trying to break something free of the middle of the Trojan defense. But this is what happened to the Bruins last week against Arizona. They were playing well offensively. McNown goes to throw it out. Next thing you know, Kelly Malvo, the Wildcats, takes it in for a score, and the game changed dramatically.
USC, a Pac-10 leading 26 turnovers to force. And the Bruins can't run so far. McNown looking deep for Eric Scott. Almost intercepted. Almost intercepted Chad Morton. No flag, although Bob Toledo and Eric Scott will lobby for one. No flag, incomplete, third down.
And there's a good reason why there's no flag. Morton and Scott are both going for the ball. Once again, play action, try to slow up the Southern Cal rush just a bit, but watch the ball. You see Morton, he has his eyes on the ball. That's incidental contact, and then he drops an interception, actually. But Eric Scott, of course, thinking differently, but we have the advantage of replay. You can see it from up above, so no flag, no harm, no foul.
Trojans big time. UCLA 9 rushes, 15 yards on the SC defense. McNown in trouble. Gets away, throws, complete first down, Farmer. Dalen McCutcheon on the coverage, but nice escapability by McNown. Darrell Russell again, who's been living in that UCLA backfield, applied the pressure. This is one of the reasons why the offense has only allowed 23 sacks coming into this game, because of the nice escapability by Cade McNown.
Cade McNown is a true competitor. He keeps a lot of plays alive. As a lot of Bruins fans know, and people across the country know, as a true sophomore, he's already second on the team in career starts behind Chad Overhouse.
Who, as a sophomore, he's seen as much action as anybody else on this entire team.
A very wise and seasoned sophomore, but still so young. When talking to Al Borges and Bob Toledo, he makes some mistakes out there, and it's still because of youth.
August 19 is day one, when FX premieres The X-Files. 5 nights a week. The original cuts starting with episode 1, but you may never see it, because your cable company may not carry FX. To get FX, call 1-800-FX-FX-FX1. We'll get your cable company on the line so you can get The X-Files on FX. Fox Gone Cable. Call for the best primetime on cable. Your cable company needs to hear from you.
You talk about a nice battle of big men. Two best guys there are. The battle of two giants here today. I've always said, Bill, as Al Borges is speaking with Cade McNown, I've always said both teams could come in 0-10. Honestly, this game is going to be a great game, although, as you had mentioned, since 1958, the first time that both teams come in with losing records. And guess what? The result of that game in 58, a 15-15 tie. It's a shame they couldn't go to OT. You would have loved to call that one. Haven't had an OT game all year.
We didn't get one. SC,
What's the crystal ball say today?
I don't think so.
I don't think so
SC,
either.
by the way, had one of the classic OT games of the season in college football. The loss to Arizona State, that might have been their best effort all year long. Both these teams, in fact, played well against Arizona State. Could have won. Keith Brown. Trying to slither for some yards. Gets out to the 37-yard line. While we're at it, speaking of Arizona State, they're going to battle Ohio State. Well, what's John Cooper thinking about after blowing one to Michigan at home with a chance for a national title possibly down the line? Absolutely inexcusable for Ohio State to play as poorly as they did today.
But remember, Michigan went to Colorado and beat Colorado. Michigan manhandled the Bruins. Michigan was able to walk into Ohio Stadium. Well, you know what? But Michigan is a much better team than people think.
I agree. Still, come on, Keith Brown looking for a first down. Claiborne collared him there, but it's out to the 47-yard line. Keith Brown. Tell us about Keith Brown, because he has been in some opportune moments so far this year, opportune enough to get a couple of scores.
And Keith Brown right here, the true freshman out of Phoenix. He's still understanding the pass game right there. You see him slip through a line of blockers, and Claiborne, another true freshman, over there to rope him down. But again, the Southern Cal UCLA battles, all true freshmen making plays, things happening. You're going to hear a lot about those two guys for years to come.
7.5 remaining first half. USC up 17-0. Big plays have been the order. McNown, plenty of time. Over the middle, Grieve, complete. Down to the 27-yard line. Brian Kelly was there for SC along with Graham Pearsall. Too late. 25 yards and a Bruin first.
Well, this is just a wise play call right here. Al Borges knows what can hurt that Trojan defense right down the middle of the field, and having Mike Grieve back in the lineup. He was out for a few games, and they really missed him. 2 catches today for 31, but he gives you some additional options. He gives you a guy that's able to run down the field, make some plays. Jamal Clark, on the other hand, the other tight end, has been blocking so well. Not a big pass receiving threat, but at times they'll throw him the ball as well.
That's why we're seeing a lot of 2 tight end sets for UCLA. This is Skip Hicks. Outside he goes, down to the 20-yard line. A gain on first down of 7. Skip Hicks, who's 3rd in Pac-10 rushing. 5th, by the way, in scoring in the nation. He has 18 touchdowns this year, a new UCLA single-season record.
My little boy loves Thomas the Train, Bill, and I kind of like it. Skip Hicks, he kind of is like an old train, just slow starting off, and then once he gets the wheels going, he can be dangerous once he hits full stride, being a great track athlete as he is. But
Thomas the Tank Engine. Skip Hicks. Well done. 2nd down, UCLA inside. That will be a first down. Craig Walendy doesn't have a lot of carries this year. That's his 19th of the entire season, but it's enough for a first down.
Again, the Bruins just executing a guard center trap. Sean Stewart, Chad Souter right there to open a nice hole. And Walendy, like I said, just trying to spring the fullback up the middle. Full 55 Claiborne.
Red zone this season, there are your opportunities for UCLA. By the way, look for some added pressure from USC. They really love to bring heat when the opposition gets into the red zone. They forced the issue. So look for the Trojans to get aggressive right here on first down. Keith Brown, Chris Claiborne. 5:49 remaining. Late flag into the mix.
And I'll tell you what, it has impressed me most thus far, the defensive line of Southern Cal, and the play of 55 right there also, but the defensive line is controlling the game right now and the tempo of the game.
Claiborne, number 55. It's interesting, they try to structure a guy like this, number 55, and he's done well, but you just can't coach his innate ability to go get the football. So as much as they want to structure, he's all over the field.
Defense. Half the distance to the goal line.
USC.
Automatic first down.
It'll be 1st and goal on the automatic first down.
Boy, this is what'll frustrate John Robinson. His defense makes a nice play right here. 55 wraps up. Claiborne Kennelly's there, and you see Todd McBride come in a little, what could be construed as a little late, but then it's always the retaliatory second punch that draws the flag. So in a game like this, emotions run high. Lay off.
I'm sure that's probably what it was after McBride came in late. On 1st and goal, Brown is the single set for the Bruins. McNown might be checking off at the line. Down 17-0. McNown. Brown has a chance. Keith Brown looking for the end zone. He's down at the 1. Brian Kelly. He was dragging number 42, Kelly. Aaron Williams also had to bring him down. It'll be 2nd and goal for UCLA.
Keith Brown is an exciting athlete to watch. His legs are fresh, and he keeps his legs driving right there. Brian Kelly trying to strip the ball out, which is wise, but the first thing you got to do is bring the man down as he surges ahead to the 1-yard line. But Brown, we've seen Darrell Price. Darrell Price can run inside the tackles, but Brown gives you that outside escapability, 155 yards thus far in the season.
The trenches will tell the story here. Out of the eye, Brown is the tailback. Man in motion, UCLA jumps. We're going to go back 5 for the Bruins. Shake the head, Bob Toledo. Feel free. Big mistake there for UCLA. It'll be 2nd down at the 6.
This is an area of the field you never you never get enough time. You never get enough time to prepare the short yardage goal line in your game plan. You always wish you had more reps throughout the week of practice. Every coach will tell you that. Friday before the game, you have walkthroughs, you're walking through. You never get good looks on short yardage goal line because you can't risk injury running your first team against your second, or against your first team defense in practice, because that's where games are won and lost, the trenches. My man with a crystal ball once again, Bo McDonald.
First penalty on the Bruins. From the far hash, McNown will roll and throw, complete. Not close, and as Farmer can work his way into the end zone. Brian Kelly had him wrapped up. It'll be third down. Brian Kelly says there's not a day that goes by for the last 365 that he hasn't thought about UCLA and this game. And right here, he really closed in on Farmer quickly.
Well, maybe that's part of the problem. You got to forgive and forget about plays. Brian Kelly has the Bruins in his cage, and I'm sure a game like this, I'm sure he's forgotten about that play. I'm sure it's brought back to him a few times anytime they flip on the film projector.
We're going to come back with a key third down play with 4:16 remaining in the second here on Fox. 13th play of the drive coming up as we welcome you back to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Not a whole lot to smile about from the Bruin faithful so far, but they're looking to get on the board with 4:16 remaining in the second. It'll be third down and goal, down 17-0 to our rival USC. It'll be an interesting set. Tom and I were noticing we could see Derek Ayers in the backfield, and if so, he could be the primary target on this third down play, and that's where he is. In motion, Farmer. McNown in trouble, is going to run for touchdown, UCLA!
At the last minute, the Bruins got what they wanted, Bill. SC shifted to an under defense, and it creates a great opportunity for Ayers to get out of the backfield. McNown takes a look at him, and all of a sudden, Sammy Knight applies a ton of pressure right up the middle, and McNown able to tuck the ball and race in from three. Great play right there by the young quarterback, talking Al Borges. That's what McNown has to do. He did it last year. He made plays on third down when he had to.
Senior kicker Bjorn Merton adds the extra point. 13 plays, 80 yards for Cade McNown and the Bruins of UCLA when they needed it the most, when nothing was going right. McNown engineers a pretty impressive drive. 17-7 now. Trojans on top with 4:10 remaining in the second quarter.
Well, they had the look they wanted. Derek Ayers again, the situational player on third down, but that man, number 18, whom a year ago against the Trojans as a true freshman played remarkably. Watch Sammy Knight apply the pressure right up the middle, and you see a gaping hole. Nobody home for the Trojan defense. McNown a little bit excited.
At Home Base, you know our everyday low prices are low. Well, this week they're going even lower. You'll save with base buys throughout the store. So whatever your project is, hurry in today. Go to the base, Home Base, where prices aren't just low, they're lower.
Craig Andrzyk will kick off. There's your scoring drive. McNown caps it off. Took over 5 minutes. And again, Bruins must not, under any circumstance, kick the ball to Sauer. He's back there with Chris Miller. This one was picked up by the up man at the 19-yard line. Travis Hall for USC. I think the Bruins will take that at the 31-yard line. Vito Clemente makes the stop for the Bruins. Trojans up 10. We'll get a crack at it again. Seems like it's been a while. Brad Ott come out. The Bruins will regroup on the sidelines. Here's Mike Reed, looking like the true mountain man that he is.
There's Andy Myers right there in the foreground.
Right, with the broken leg.
Yeah, see, Andy Myers played so well for that Bruin offensive line this year. Really might have been the best player right behind Oberhausen.
In the pot, throws it over the middle, behind the man, incomplete. Intended for Chris Miller.
Now look, play that pop. Underfoot.
This, of course, the SC sideline.
Look, it's that simple. It's just X's and O's. You know, it's this guy, just big on big. There you go. Watch that guy coming out of the backfield. There he is.
Doesn't matter where you put those X's and O's. That's all it is, though. It's that simple.
Just wrap up, right, Bill?
Finish. 2nd down and 10. Sermon's quickly in motion. The pitch goes to DeLon Washington. They don't use that pitch play as much as a lot of people think they should. It's out to about the 40-yard line. They might use it more, though, because Allred is back in the game. And with Allred in, he's definitely one of their best blockers. Jeff Dilt's a good player, but just not the blocker that Allred is.
Allred is a possible first-round draft pick in the NFL. UCLA, however, still playing a 4-down line defense. The first time they've showed it all year. Actually, it's been effective for them on the early downs. These are when the plays are made or broken, though. 3rd down, of course, SC able to get an early 3rd down to R.J. Soward. I'd turn to number 18 again.
Quick hit, exact play. Soward's got it, and he's going to go. Tom Ramsey, you dialed it up. R.J. Soward, touchdown, 60 yards for the Trojans. Late flag. It's probably going to be for celebrating in the end zone for USC. It's obvious. R.J. Soward is the best player on the field right now for USC. You saw it, but the Bruin D didn't. And the Trojans have another touchdown.
I'm sure they called excessive celebration, and that's why.
Look at JR.
Robinson's a little hot. Bill, if I can call R.J. Soward's ability to make plays from up here, I guarantee you that UCLA sideline knows.
After a touchdown.
They know they have to get a little tighter coverage on number 18.
I hate to call up a replay, but I certainly hope that we have the end of that play, because I don't know how much Soward actually celebrated. I saw him down on the ground, and then his teammates coming to get him. Soward, get this. These are pretty impressive. 4 catches, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns. R.J. Soward. Awesome. Abrams has the extra point. USC. There's the freshman who has been nothing short of electrifying so far. 3:09 remaining in the 2nd quarter. 24-7 rather. SC, here it is again.
Again, a short drop by Otten, gets it into the hands of number 18, R.J. Soward, and then he just makes a couple moves, and he's off to the races. Rocky Long, the defensive coordinator for UCLA, had said coming in, number 18 is very, very dangerous. And if he got a penalty for diving in the end zone, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's a football player having fun right there. Hey, you know what? Is there a rule on having fun? Last time I checked, it wasn't in the rule book.
A lot of pressure on that man right there, and he wants so badly to end 2 streaks these next 2 weeks. 5 in a row to UCLA, 13 in a row to Notre Dame, and as if they needed any extra added incentive next week, being Lou Holtz's final game. That'll be at the Coliseum. It'll be full. It'll be something. Looking forward to that one also. Tom Kelly, Craig Fertig will be there to bring that to you here on Fox Sports. 43-8 a catch. Hello.
That's better than his kickoff return average of 32, which just happens to be 2nd in the nation. That's only 2nd in the nation. I would venture to say 43 yards a catch might be 1st in the nation with over a dozen catches.
Stunned on the other side. What we hear about RJ too is tremendous work habits too. His personality is so infectious, and he's just been a great team guy too all season long as a freshman. McElroy takes it at about the 9. Pete Brown was also back there, but McElroy is pummeled at about the 29-yard line as SC Special Teams pays a visit. Back to R.J. Soward to Zerbin beverage break. 2 kickoffs for touchdowns this year for him. And it recalls another number 18. Remember a couple of years ago, the John Barnes game when J.J. Stokes took control. Well, now it's R.J. Soward for USC.
The game
right
in
on this field.
The game in 1992, the 38-37 win by the Bruins. Barnes finding Stokes, who just went crazy that afternoon.
Keith Brown works to the outside by SC Grant Pearsall, coming up big time from the safety position. Bruins need any sort of points on the board on this drive. They'll even take 3 at this point. 2:46, clock moving down, but you're going to get the football to start the second half. So if you could get points and then get possession right away, you're thinking, okay, hey, we're back in it.
If we get 3 points out of this drive, it would be remarkable, and it would be an absolute boost going in for the second half. But the Bruins have had much trouble executing 2-minute offense this season.
Could be another pick, and it's incomplete to Craig Walendi. That was there for the taking for Mark Cusano. Cusano was there, and he could have waltzed in too.
Mark Cusano out of Dallas, Texas, the Colony High down there, and John Robinson has said this player will become a marvelous all-star one day, and maybe one day soon. Cusano, only a sophomore, 6'2", 225, and plays that strong side linebacker for the Trojan defense.
Third down. Mark's played real well the last 3 weeks. No backs. Cade McNown. Pressure again. Step up. He's going to try to run for it. Might get it. Yes, he will. Across the 45 to the 47-yard line. 17 yards. The clock will stop with the moving of the chains. It's a first down for UCLA. By the way, timeouts. 1 left for each team here in the final couple of minutes.
Again, McNown seeing his options are unavailable down the field. He's able to put a move on Cusano right there, and then he's able to lunge ahead for the first down. Good play, but still a lot of time moving off that clock.
Okay, good protection this time. Leveled at midfield is Derek Ayers, and he heard and saw and felt Sammy Knight coming. That is the reason why he didn't make that catch. You want to know why he lays a hat on you? He's the hardest hitter. Here it is again.
Sammy Knight just dialed in at 25. He sees him coming out of the backfield, and he's responsible for 25 coming out of the backfield. But he's reading McNown, too, and he sees the play developing underneath. He just picks a spot right there and lays the wood to 25.
Deliverance right there. Second down and 10, UCLA. Okay, pump fake, throwing, and complete. The 40-yard line, looking and finding McElroy for 15 yards. And the Bruins now have to be wary of the clock, as Tom and I mentioned again. Something they haven't done at all this year. They've let precious seconds always whittle down. But right now, they have a timeout. It's still plenty with a minute and a half to go.
Well, the clock will stop for a short time as they move the chains, but then the referees get it started really quick, and that's why you always want to call a couple different plays.
Eric Scott falling down on his wallet on the inside screen. Second down.
Billy, in 2-minute offense, a quarterback, you want to call multiples of plays. You want to have 2 and 3 plays called at the moment. You don't want to go up to the line every time and have to call plays. You want multiples of plays because they just burned off another minute off the clock.
Second down and 12. McNown might take off and run again. He's being chased by 4 Trojans. Helmet on helmet down to the 34-yard line. Well, he challenged Kelly that time as they met head-on at the 34-yard line. Cade could not get out of bounds. They've got to call a timeout here. You've got to call a timeout. There's 41 seconds remaining, and it's third down. You might as well call one and try to get a good play called up to get a first down, too. First down is your priority here.
The only time McNown calls a timeout, he looks over at the sideline, either Toledo or Alford, just make that call.
McNown's got to throw it. Does, incomplete. It'll be fourth down.
I agree with you, Bill, in that last exchange. There's a time and a place to call a timeout. Call timeout. Give yourself just a regrouping effort for a couple of minutes, for a minute. You could dial a decent play up on third down because now you're faced with fourth.
And a long field goal. I would have done it to try to get the first down. More importantly, that's just as important as stopping the clock. You could have saved 15 to 20 seconds.
Well, you get the first down, you can kill the clock with just parrying the ball.
Give your field goal kicker.
Clock.
Give your field goal kicker 10, 15 extra yards. Bjorn Merton, 52 yards. This is really pressing the limits of his range. Merton, it is. No good. So the Bruins empty on this final drive for them here in the first half. 17 seconds remaining in it, and the Trojans will probably just fall on it. They would, I would assume, be rather content to go in up 24-7 after 2.
You know what I figured out? If I was able to, if you're able to sit up here and make all the calls, and if I had this knowledge that I have sitting up at the booth now, when I was playing quarterback, I figured if I had thrown for 85%, might have scored on every 2-minute drive, used my timeouts wonderfully. It's a different deal when you're on the field in the heat of battle. Sometimes, McNow's trying to get out of bounds. He took 3 big hits, and he was unable to.
Not content. Throwing. Got a man. Complete. Trojans looking for at least a chance for 3, and they might get it. 10 seconds remaining. Chris Miller, the grab. 21 yards. He beat Javelin Guidry. And very aggressive play calling for USC. Looking to tack on to their already big 24-7 lead. But that is USC's last timeout. USC looking to move to 6-5 on the year. Both these teams 3-4 in the conference. And a couple of key games. One team really sticks out in my mind that kind of ruined these teams' season. Stanford. Here's Stanford. SC lost to them last week. They would have had a better chance for a bowl game if they had beaten Stanford. UCLA had a game that they should have won against Stanford. The Cardinals. They are in line to possibly go to a bowl, and that to me is the most astounding thing all season long.
I thought you were going to say the Huskies. The Huskies, dominated both teams.
What I'm saying
and the Huskies
is,
are awfully good, but
the
you're
Huskies
absolutely
should
right.
have beaten both of these teams, and they did. But Stanford, these two teams should have beaten Stanford. Both of them should have beaten them.
Well, I was talking to some, it's wonderful this week because you have wonderful relationships with SC and UCLA people throughout the week. And the other day I was talking to one of my Trojan friends. They said, we lost to the tree. We lost to Stanford. We're not having a good year. And I said, well, UCLA lost to the tree.
They lose the tree credit. They, obviously we're seeing this on Sunday on our replay on Fox Sports West, but if they can beat Cal, Stanford finishes 3rd in the Pac-10. I could have looked into any crystal ball, played with any Ouija board in the world a month ago, and no way we would have figured that one out. On first down, throwing for an out and a possible completion. No, incomplete. That would have set up a field goal attempt. Now with 5 seconds left, Otten is thinking end zone. You've got 2 options here. And I'm going to throw a second option at you here. You could go Hail Mary, or what I might do is put 3 wides to one side, put them downfield as a decoy, throw it to Soward on the other side, and let him go freelancing.
That's the old San Francisco 49er play. You line up 3 guys to the wide side, and Joe Montana would pump. He'd come back and he'd throw to Rice. And I can't tell you how many times they pulled that play off. And finally they started double covering number 80.
Final play of the half. Otten going long, looking for Miller, incomplete. Time has expired. And the Cardinal and Gold faithful are loving it here in the bowl. After a half, USC dominating UCLA 24-7. Back with more on Fox in a moment.
S2, I'm Jim Watson along with Billy McDonald. We're at halftime of the 96 Crosstown Showdown. SC up at the half, 24-7. SC
Game's
was
over.
up 17-0 at this point. Oh, I had this one in the... I was already calling my Bruin friends and starting to rag them about it.
Game's over.
Yeah.
Some of the Bruin fans did go home. We're out of here. See you later.
What
The
happened?
most exciting part of the first half, R.J. Soward. R.J. Soward. And especially that little slip screen that worked so well. They obviously had the Bruins scouted very well. Great game plan. And R.J. is going to be incredible to watch for the Trojans for the next few years. And he just killed UCLA. Now, for UCLA to come back in the second half, they're obviously thinking they got to get Skip Hicks involved in the game.
Right.
And Cade's just got to work his magic, improvising, getting this done. And the number one thing to remember in the second half is that UCLA has won 5 in a row. So they're getting into SC's kitchen. I don't care what the score was. SC's going,
yeah.
oh, my God, we've lost 5 in a row. We've got to win this one for JR. Can we hold on?
And remember, it was all the SC players leading up to this game that were talking about the streak is going to end, it's over, and we're close the door, put the cat out, it's ending here, it's stopping.
The cat was out. It was chasing mice. It was all over 24/7, and that complacency factor obviously was going to creep in, but it was breaks and defense that obviously were going to have to make a difference for UCLA if they were going to come back.
You and Ramsey talk at the half. You guys think that maybe SC was going to play it a little close to the vest and try to coast to the wire here?
There's just no way you're going to think that UCLA is going to come back, only because of the way that the season had gone for the Bruins. They hadn't played bad football, don't get me wrong, but coming in at 4-6 and being the underdogs coming in here, although they're in your home, your home bowl there, the Rose Bowl, you just didn't think they were going to get it because Otten and Sauer were going to continue to work it. Maybe it happened that way. Maybe it didn't. But if you wear cardinal and gold at home, you can leave now.
This is where it gets ugly for all of us. Ramsey's a Bruin guy. Did he think it was over?
You know, the funniest things in the world is Tom Kelly comes up. Every time that we do a game at the Rose Bowl, Tom Kelly, the voice of the Trojans, comes up and he sits at one side, and Tom's on my left, and I'm right in the middle. And these guys are snipping back and forth at each other. When SC does something good, Tom's going, yes, yes, the Trojans. And then, of course, Tom's over here. So I'm just in the middle. Remember, I went to both schools, so I'm a neutral guy.
It's funny you mention that because I've never noticed Tom being an SC homer myself.
No, it never happened. Right, Tom?
All right, let's take you back now. Hold on to something. It's going to be a crazy second half. Let's get back to the Rose Bowl, the 96 battle, the Bruins and the Trojans.
And our kickoff to start the second half. It's brought to you by Coors. David Bell. Good kick for the Trojans. Deep for the Bruins. McElroy. Along with Derek Ayers. Bruins down big, 24-7. Trojans have had some second half problems. We'll see if that rears its ugly head here against arch rival UCLA. Up the middle goes McElroy across the 25. He gets bolted down in a heap at the 26-yard line. Darnell Lacey, the big hit on special teams for USC. Here's that hit one more time. McElroy going straight up the gut, and he never saw it. Lacey, man. The Bruins' final half of football for 1996 coming up. There's your QB comparison. Time of possession, interestingly, big-time favor for UCLA. Useless stat, of course, that's what we could ever imagine in that first half. Big plays belong to USC. Skip Hicks gets the call. Still on his feet. And the whistle finally blows as he gets out to about the 30-yard line. Hicks gets thrown down at the end. Overconfidence is, I don't think, something that USC will have here in the second half. At least they shouldn't get it. They have blown some second half leads.
Well, you see the play just continues to carry over. This is the referee's job, Bill, to step in and control it so things like that don't happen. But because they can escalate towards the fourth quarter when things get a little uglier or nastier.
Second down and 6 with the ball resting just short of the 30-yard line. Reeve in motion. Kicks again. And he moves the pile out to the 33. Darrell Russell was the first to meet him. Darrell, one of 13 Outland Trophy semi-finalists this year, and he grabbed a hold of Skip.
I think this entire second half, UCLA has to be conscious of the clock the entire second half. They got to keep their eye on it because there are enough points down where if you don't make anything happen in the third quarter, you're really climbing Mount Everest. And you have to get points. You said it before the end of the first half. They needed the 3 points. They missed a long field goal, 52-yarder by Merton. It would have given them a big boost coming in, although they gained the ball opening the second half.
Your
here.
minimum 3 possessions. The score's down right now. Here's a completed pass to Jamal Clark. He's across the 45 to the 48-yard line. Claiborne was there, the 6'4" freshman, but it's a first down for UCLA. 15 yards, and the Bruins will move the chains.
If I'm Al Borges, I'm going to try and get the ball to 96, and I'll tell you why. Beyond being a big load tight end, the first guy never brings him down. He's the Bruins' emotional leader. Offense, defense, special teams. Jamal Clark playing his last game for the Bruins. Take a look. He's had some catches this year. They found the tight end again at 96, but he's an emotional guy. He'll get him pumped up.
First down for Cade McNown. Out of the eye with 2 wides to the near side. Play action to Hicks. McNown will step up and throw long on the post. Down the middle, Barber's got it. Touchdown, UCLA. He beat Dalen McCutcheon. 52 yards. this season, Farmer has gotten behind a DB for a huge game, and the Bruins come out smoking in the second half.
There's opportunity when you get the ball first kickoff. You get the ball in your hands. You can make some redemption for having played poorly in the first half. And right here, Cade McNown, play action, delivers a strike to Farmer. 6 points, Bruins.
Bjorn Merton. Extra point. Good. Without a doubt, the surprise offensively for the Bruins of UCLA. His dad played receiver here at the university. Hey, Daddy's a volleyball player. Not today, he's not. 24-14.
You talk about a fool 'em play. Little play action, fake the waggle, move the pocket setup. And what surprised me right here, Danny Farmer just runs by Dalen McCutcheon. I don't know if McCutcheon was freezed on the play by the play fake. He must have been. McNown completing number 15 there of 23, 165. One big touchdown, one big costly interception as well to Sammy Knight in the other direction.
And he's run for a touchdown as Cade McNown. So he's been involved in 3 scores directly this afternoon, 2 for his. And the other one, RJ printing that one out. He take a knee 9 yards deep. There's a flag, however, at 35, and that will go against the Bruins. Can't be anything else. And SC, they'll have them kick again. That's quite obvious. They'd love to give their returners an opportunity. That's just an inexcusable mistake for UCLA. When you've got your kicker booting it out of the end zone, don't run ahead of him. 4 plays, 74 yards, by the way, on that drive, and Andrusik will have to do it again.
Encroachment on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
Now it's a 5-yard penalty here, but we'll really see how far it costs, how far SC gets past the 20 if they indeed do so on this kick. That would be the net result of the penalty.
I would contemplate kicking the ball out of bounds.
And just giving it to him at the 35?
Sure.
It's a possibility.
I don't want 18 to touch it.
I guarantee you're going to see a squib. Yeah, he's not going to try to kick. You can't kick it out now at this point.
Directional kicking, and we mentioned it earlier on, and you mentioned it, Bill. Chris Saylor has done a great job for the Bruins in punt situation. Andrusik is a good directional kicker also, but when the kickoff returners are aligned in a straight line as they are now, and they're flopping right before the kick comes, it makes it very difficult on Andrusik, and he just has to pick a side, and then he'll tell his coverage team, hey, I'm kicking it to the right corner, so just be prepared.
By the way, one more number on that last touchdown catch with Danny Farmer. You mentioned how it's #1 pass defense in the Pac-10. That's just the 10th touchdown pass allowed in the last 50 quarters. Look at Andrusik driving it into the end zone again. Oh, my, what a leg. He does have just a slight breeze going with him, but that was all leg strength by Andrusik, and no way for Soward to bring it back. Big time for number 19. You know, it's almost like a relief pitcher in baseball. You can't give up any more runs. Well, everybody's got to do their part for UCLA. They can't turn the ball over. Guys like Andrusik have to do their part, and then you chip away, and hopefully if you're a Bruin fan, you come back and can draw even.
I think at halftime, Bob Toledo had some great motivating plays to talk about, especially the Trojans going after that last point, throwing the ball down the field.
Dawn Washington with a flag down at the 20, has a first down, but this one could come back against SC.
Throwing right on the 20, it'll be a hold against the Trojans at the end of this line of scrimmage.
One thing, as we'll see,
Holding. 10 yards
against the Trojans.
Key first down.
Danny Farmer's touchdown catches this year have certainly dialed long distance as we take you through his season. You know, we're talking about SC running the ball against UCLA and UCLA's inability to do so. Last year, SC was outrushed 188 to 112 during the 5-game streak. They got a number for you. In a minute, down he goes at the 1. Weldon Ford, his team leading 6, sack. And the Trojans are pinned up again. against the one. Forget about those rushing numbers. Let's talk sack right now.
I rarely say this, Bill. This is a stupid play right here, because what ends up happening, you almost bury yourself in your own end zone. You had the ball on the 20. They're now on about the half-foot line, backed up, and the Bruins have the momentum. Weldon Ford with a great play right there. Leads the team in sacks, as you say.
Yeah, we're just 3 minutes and 6 seconds into the second half, and this game has completely changed. On second down at the 1, Otten steps, throws. Bastianelli, his first catch of the day, out to the 18-yard line. Kasani Abdul-Salam made the stop. It'll be a third down, still quite a bit of distance at about 12, but 18 yards to Mike Bastianelli.
Boy, you take a lot of risk here. Holding call in the end zone becomes a safety. They go to the go-to guy, Bastianelli. Kasani Abdul-Salam there to make the tackle as soon as the ball is delivered. But Bastianelli, tell you, he's a guy that'll go across the middle for you.
Mr. All-Everything, went to high school, of course, at Concord de La Salle. Never lost a game until he lost to Notre Dame last year. On third down, could be a key play in the game. Otten, complete, first down, USC. What a big 2 plays by Brad Otten, and that one complete to Chris Miller. Anthony Cobbs for UCLA, but the Bruins had him pinned back at the 1, and Otten came up big. First down, Trojans.
I was just thinking, as you said that, that's the reason I like Brad Otten. People asked me at halftime, hey, what do you think of Otten? I like him. What are his numbers?
9 out of 16, 247, but a lot of that, of course, run after catch, courtesy of number 18.
He's a guy that just showed a great deal of patience just then, and he's made some throws on third down tonight.
Otten will throw again. Quick drop, complete, out to the 38. Miller, good stretch as he escapes trouble to the 39-yard line. Tom, one thing they haven't done with Otten all year, you know, we've been talking about he's been getting hammered, just plugged game in and game out. They don't do a lot of short drop and quick stuff with Otten. A lot of it is just 5-step, stand in the pocket. Why don't they do more quick hitting stuff with SC?
Well, I think they do some 3-step drop. It's a little bit limited. Last year you had Keyshawn Johnson, and he filled him up, and I don't blame him. I'd go to Keyshawn Johnson too if he was on my team, but they almost became too comfortable with him in the lineup.
On Washington, first down, USC out to the 46-yard line.
And also, Bill, Otten is a long stride guy. When he goes to set up, he's going to get deep on his drops. Anytime he takes a 5-step drop, he's going to get close to 9 yards. If you can hold the guys for 2.5 to 3 seconds, not hold them, but block them, of course, you got opportunity to throw the ball all over the field. And I think Mike Riley, that's part of his game plan, is to spray it around and create opportunities for a bunch of guys.
Washington in the workhorse on the ground for SC. 10 carries, 41 yards. Otten on first down. This is Walters. He turns the corner, bowls over a couple, showing his strength. Close to a first down again. The man he hit and leveled was Kasani Abdul-Salam. We'll get to Walters again in a minute, but Cade McNown right now thought he was going to get the football a moment ago in good field position, but he's going to have to wait. Now, Sean Walters, here's an interesting case. A man who just carried the ball for USC. Walters would be a better runner if he just figured out what kind of a runner he is. He comes out and thinks he's Barry Sanders when he's more of a bowl him over, get 4 yards type. Up the middle goes Rodney Sermons, and SC moving the ball on the ground. And wouldn't it be something if they could go 99 for a score on this drive? That would certainly deflate the Bruins.
I really believe this is what Southern Cal has to do. Can keep the ball on the ground, grind the time off the clock. They have to make first downs. They got to move the chains by the run. Rodney Sermons right there are really a great two-fold player for you, able to run the traffic.
This is what happened last week against Arizona. They didn't run off a lot of big runs. They chipped away. 3 runs, moving. 3 runs, moving. Here's Walters again. Inside, stood up a man, but then gets corralled at the 30. Abdul McCullough. I haven't really called Abdul's name a lot. There he is. Number 9, been playing a lot of the second half of the season with a broken bone in his hand. You see the cast on his right arm, wrist.
Abdul McCullough only made 14 tackles in last year's game. He rose to the occasion and had a big day. But I agree, Sean Walters he's a tweener. I mean, I don't know if he runs. He's a big load, I tell you, about 230 pounds.
When he gets in a groove, he'll bury people.
Barry Sanders, he's not.
Well, I know.
He's a straight ahead
and he
guy.
thinks he is sometimes.
You know what they say, Bill? It's got to be the shoes.
Rodney Sermons tripped up short of a first down. Needs to get just inside the 25. And it'll be another big third down here for the Trojans with 8:34 clock running, third quarter. USC on top, 24-14. Looking for their 6th win of the year. And looking to set up next week's game against Notre Dame as a bowl or not to bowl exercise with the Domers. Third and a long 2. Give it up to Sean Walters. He's got the first down off left side to the 22-yard line. Wilmer needed some help. He got some, but it was too late. Sean Williams came in there too. Here comes USC moving it down with authority.
Well, it is authority. This is what happens. The left tackle, Rome Douglas, just crushes the left side of the line, and Travis Claridge, 71, the right guard, pulls around. There's no one for him to hit, so he goes ahead and moves the whole pile. And
tell me again about the size of this line. SC's probably the prettiest team you'll ever see in uniforms. They look so good before you even snap the ball. Offside Bruins, possibly. And you mentioned Rome Douglas. He's the left tackle. Needs a little more consistency, but he's got a streak of meanness to him that makes him tough. There's Jeff Ruckman. It is offside on the defense. Ruckman's certainly undersized going up against a line like this, the former fullback, number 45.
And Bill, their center may be one of their best players right now. Jonathan Heimbach, 6'3", 290, a junior. He took over for Jeremy Hogue, and Jeremy Hogue, of course, was not a huge guy in that line that preceded Heimbach, but a great, intelligent player and made all the calls.
Lavelle Woods is in the game too, but this is Deron Washington trying to back in towards the first down marker. That was a first down and 5 play. Clock continues to motor. We're already halfway through the third quarter. SC with a 10-point lead.
Bill, correct me if I'm wrong. Jeremy Hogue, the center of last year's team, became a Rhodes Scholar.
That I do not know.
All right. I don't know how I know those facts.
Those academic facts. I know that Kenley is the man you're looking for as far as talent plus academics. He's got some postgraduate scholarship awards already. And, two-time All-America academic. Flags again. This one will go against SC, though. So UCLA was flagged a moment ago, but the Trojans will go a -5 the other way. There's John Allred. He's back, and that's the whole deal. Sprained knee, ankle. When he was gone, the other tight ends combined for 1 catch, and he has 26 on the season and a touchdown, and he's such a great blocker. There you see the brace on his knee. John Robinson absolutely loves this guy for 89.
So do the pro scouts.
Oh.
They love him too. Their only question is they don't feel he can run down the middle of the field in the NFL. And, a lot of guys are 4'6", 4'7" guys that size, but I'll tell you what, his blocking ability plus his pass catching ability make him a legitimate first round.
Complete down to the 15. Chris Miller, who's caught a bunch of balls so far. Javelin Guidry coverage. It'll be short. Third down, 2.5 coming up for SC. Chris caught an 84-yarder for a touchdown earlier in the year. He has 3 touchdowns. And if you think there's a little impact on this play, watch for the mouthpiece.
Here's a heavyweight title fight. Boom.
There it is. He'll have to collect the equipment. On the day, 4 catches. For Chris Miller, of course, Billy Miller also on the roster. In motion, Sermons. Up the middle, Woods. Off of 1 tackle, he's going to be close, and he's going to get a first down. Lavelle has been running so well lately, and he gets the call here In clutch situations, Lavelle Woods gets the rock, and he beat Waswa Saranga that time. Give credit to the 5'7" junior for the Trojans.
Was Saranga come off the corner. He makes the initial hit on Woods. He almost loses it. Saranga comes back and makes the tackle, but too late. Right there, the Bruins again blitzing on third down. Trojans come up with a big play.
Lavelle's in there a lot, too, because he's probably your best blocking back to protect Otton's 16th play of this impressive drive. Remember, they were already down, or they were all the way down for 1. Otten looking for the end zone. Incomplete. Won it all, Red. Would have been a spectacular grab and almost pulled it in. It'll be second down with 5:23 remaining in the third.
Well, this is the same play that they executed in the first half when Otten got the ball out to Rodney Sermons for the first down. And right there, Sean Williams, Allred became Otten's second choice, and Otten looking down the field, and Sean Williams all over him.
I'm certainly not going to put anything into the refrigerator like Chick would at any time during the game, but this drive, 17 plays. SC's had the ball for now nearly 8 minutes. They get a touchdown here. It could be lights out for the Bruins.
And that's why I said the Bruins got to keep their eye on the clock the entire second half.
Touchdown USC. That is Chris Miller. 12 yards and a score, and what a drive for USC. Wow.
And 99.5 yards, capped by Otten to Miller right there. And Bill, they do have to keep their eye on the clock from this play forward, because Otten again does a great job. He throws just a dart into number 2, and it's good for 7.
Tom, that was a sensational drive. Adversity, the mix of runs and passes, and clutch situations. SC did it all. The length of the field. We'll see in a minute here on Fox. The ball, 2nd and 29 on their own 1. From there, they went the length of the field and scored. Otten, Miller.
And that's a strike. And that's good for 6.
One of the most impressive drives of the year. One of the most impressive drives in this series. And all the great years that SC and UCLA have been playing, especially that SC needed it right there. And they got it not, really got it done when he needed to. Your scoring drive, 15 plays, 7.5 minutes. It's going to be 80 yards officially, but they went backwards to the 1.
Yes.
So it's literally 99 yards.
They went reeling back to the half-yard line.
So the Bruins will have to come back right away. They're back in their hole. McElroy says, we'll come out to the 20-yard line.
Billy, they didn't take a lot of time going backwards on that drive, but they took a
bunch coming forward.
Going in the forward direction.
And like we said, they had just thrown deep to Farmer for the score. The crowd was up. The momentum had shifted. And then he hit Bastianelli and then Miller again for the first down. And Miller stretched out and just made the first down. And then they proceeded to go the length of the field.
UCLA has done well in time of possession throughout this year, but they have a quick strike offense as well. Watch for it.
And right here, Skip Hicks is certainly capable of going the distance on any play. He scoots out to the 28-yard line. Kenny Haslip, who, by the way, is the cousin of Abdul McCullough of UCLA. He's one of the ones that makes the stop. So many stories of coaches and families and friends intertwined over the great series.
Kenny Haslip, also an ex-high school teammate of Hassani Abdul Salam over at Muir there in Pasadena, right here, right next door.
Right here is right. Second down and 2 for Cade McNown and the Bruins. Walendy is going to be short. 3rd down and 1. Bruins figured they'd pick up a gimme there, but Darrell Russell for USC was the first one. 6'4", 3 spins, and a junior. As Tom said, he would be very surprised, Tom would be, if Darrell Russell makes it back next year to be in a USC uniform, because quality D linemen are a big-time commodity in national football.
It's the highest premium there is in the NFL, beyond a great quarterback. Those two guys make a lot of money up in that league.
Third down and 2. Hicks got it. Work for the first down here, and he's going to get it. Out to the 33. That's just good individual effort there by Skip. Grant Pearsall gave chase and finally got him out of bounds right in front of John Robinson and the Trojan bench. And John's playing a little peacemaker right now, not wanting any shenanigans to break out, and a penalty flag to be thrown.
And once again, there's the train. See, the wheels started turning, and he started chugging. He ended up catching the corner, and he caught the first down.
Skip in the losses, under 100. In the wins, you see well over 100. Today, 48 yards. That's the exact yardage he had last week in the loss to Arizona. 48 yards. Quick play action. Cade McNown in trouble. Football, ball's loose. Bruins have it at the 30. And Darrell Russell forced it. He has been all over the field as number 96. Completely dominant for USC.
Yeah, Darrell Russell has controlled the line of scrimmage. He's working against Sean Gully, the replacement for Andy Myers, and he pretty much throws Gully out of the way, and then Russell able to jar the ball loose, knock it away from Cade McNown, and the Bruins lucky to fall on top of it. Take a look, tackles for loss. He comes in number 4 in the Pac-10 with 16, 8 sacks now.
Big-time candidate for postseason honors. McNown's trying to set a screen up and then just grounds it. Oh, he had Brown right there. He was just trying to get rid of it. He certainly grounded it intentionally, but with Keith Brown right there and throwing it at his feet, no flag. It'll be 3rd down and 13 with the ball on the 30.
Of course, it's no flag because it's a screen play.
Right, it's
if
right there.
I can barely hear myself, though, in the box here. But anytime there's a screen pass, it's obvious to any viewer that you can throw the ball at the player's feet.
Right there.
And the referee's standing right on the spot. Darrell Russell, I was going to say, Billy, an Outland Trophy candidate and well-deserving of it.
UCLA must convert. McNown, the wrong way. Good throw, Tom. McElroy right at the stick to Cade. Rolling right, throwing left, and McElroy looking back directly into the sun. Knew where the first down marker was. That's why if you need a go-to guy, Jimmy Mack is going to be there. 15 yards and a first down for UCLA. So they convert and move the chains.
And this is a great throw by McNown. As you said, Billy, moving to really the opposite side of his throwing capabilities, but able to get the ball to Jimmy Mack. And I think you got to come back to number 85 before the day's over. You got to get him an opportunity at a long ball today, either on a post or a streak, and it'll probably be matched up again with McCutcheon.
3rd down. All right, 1st down, rather, with 3 minutes remaining. They want to go to the other side of the field, and McNown throws it into one of his linemen, and because it hit Gully, the flags fly. Gully's going to get called for an illegal receiver when McNown wanted to get it to Skip Hicks. That was bad luck there, and not a good throw.
Illegal touching, ball touch, to the receiver, the 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, and a loss of down.
There have been some ugly plays so far for the Bruins.
Now this is a shame, and you said it is bad luck. I don't know if I believe in luck so much, but things end up happening for reasons. The Bruins have practiced this play over and over again. They had it set up. Watch, Hicks lulls everybody to sleep. They're going to screen back, and all of a sudden, McNown just wants to fire the ball out there, and sure enough, it hits the lineman right in the arm.
He was down, and he started to get up.
Exactly, and that becomes an illegal play only because the ball touches the lineman first.
It wasn't downfield illegally, it's just that he touched it first. McNown goes right into the waiting arms. Aaron Williams. McNown looked up, and Williams was there with that wingspan outspread, and he just wrapped him up. There's Aaron, 6'4", 230-pound freshman, and it'll be 3rd and forever for the Bruins. Greg Valenti,
6-yard loss on the play.
Yeah, that's one of the situations where you got to get rid of the ball on time because he sat back there for quite some time, and Williams there to make a good play over the top of Walendi.
Bruins need to get to the USC 45 for a first down. Good protection. McNown the pump. Got to throw. And does. Complete to Jimmy McElroy. First down at the 40. McElroy at the 30. He cuts inside. Jimmy Mack all the way down to the 12-yard line. Dalen McCutcheon brought him down there, but another third down conversion. 54 yards for the Bruins.
I think you have to get the ball to Jimmy McElroy. He also had Danny Farmer. Again, watch this. This was the touchdown that they executed against Tennessee. The identical play. McNown almost threw it to Farmer there, and as he comes off, he gets the ball to McElroy, and Jimmy Mack out of Washington High, L.A., he shows his speed right there. He gets up the field with his Jets.
And you just said a couple of moments ago, get the ball to McElroy. He can get things accomplished after he grabs it. Oh, Hicks gets hit hard. Sammy Knight. Level. It'll be second down.
That's great play recognition right there by number 9, Sammy Knight. He's able to see the power play coming, and he just runs through the gap and makes a huge hit on Skip Hicks.
This run defense, at times for USC, they've stuffed their opponents. They stopped Corey Dillon to a season-low 3.4 average for Washington in a game. His worst effort of the year, but then they got run over by Stanford in that second half up at the farm. McNown on second down. He's got an open man, and he finds it. Gets a little bit late, but it's complete down to the 10-yard line. Grant Pearsall finally ran right off the back of Mike Grieve and brought him down, but it was just a split second too late getting it to Grieve.
Unfortunately for Southern Cal against Washington, as the defense was shutting down Corey Dillon, their offense was sputtering to minus 14 yards rushing. So, you know, there's give and take in every game right there. McNown getting the ball out to Grieve. As you said, a little bit late, Bill. If he gets it to him right away, he has the opportunity to turn up the field and make some more yards.
Third down, a string of third down conversions for UCLA. They need another one here. Ayers in motion. Did SC jump? No flags. In trouble. McNown, he's going to want to run and does. Cade McNown, touchdown UCLA!
Again, Billy, making a huge play, and I tell you, the young guy, the sophomore, he told me the other day, I said, hey, let the other guys do the work. Let some other guys, he goes, no, I'm going to make plays. I'm going to go out and make some big plays. I'll tell you what, here's a guy who stands up to his word, because that's a huge play right there, tucking the ball, and it looked like there was a penalty. It looked as though SC had come across.
Exactly.
And made contact, but McNown staying alive, keeping the play going, goes in for 6.
10 plays, 80 yards. Bruins back in it. McNown's playing so well, Tom.
Yes, he is.
I mean, he is running all over the field. And let's take you back to last year at the Coliseum on a key third down. Cade McNown towards the end of the game.
Fourth quarter, it really became one of the biggest plays of the game. And then he stays in bounds and burns more time off the clock. Just a moment ago, you saw him. He outraced Sammy Knight. They made a nice move at the end of the play, Bill, to avoid a big hit.
And once again, the Trojans will not be able to return. It'll come out to the 20-yard line. I think I said 10 plays, 80 yards. 12 plays, 80 yards, 10 yards on the run, and 4 converted third downs on that last drive. McNown, 18 for 28, 237 yards. That's through the air. He's run for 2 touchdowns, thrown for 1 touchdown, and thrown an interception for a touchdown. That stuffed traveler is getting knocked around a little bit. Brad Ott now, 12 for 20, 274, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Now, if you're a USC supporter, you're thinking, all right, no turnovers. All right, it's important to get first downs, but turnovers are the key.
And the guy who makes the play, Dan Juan McGee, 57 out of Long Beach Poly, he wasn't even expected to play today. Got his knee drained before the game. Here's a guy that's rising to the occasion.
We're moving to the fourth quarter. The rivalry continues here on Fox Sports West. Bill McDonald, Tom Ramsey, and the A crew back at the Rose Bowl. Our final game of the season as we go from bench to bench. And SC has been very resilient so far this afternoon. Every time UCLA counterpunches, SC comes right back with a key drive.
It's a good battle.
Do it again.
It's a good battle. We knew it would be a good battle coming in, and again, the game is going to be won and lost on the line, offensive and defensive line. Right now, the Bruin defense has a great opportunity to stymie what Southern Cal was able to put together the last time they had the ball, which was a tremendous drive using run and pass and converting into the big third downs. The Bruin defense has to rise to the occasion, Bill.
Here we go, first play of the fourth quarter. Brad Otten, fake, they wanted Soward, but now they're pumping long. Oh, that was a setup the whole way, and it was there. Chris Miller streaking down the sideline, the fake to Soward to try to suck everybody in and then go long to Miller.
Well, I don't know if they knew they would have the success of the two plays previous they threw to Soward, but that was the play that Soward scored on both the big plays too, R.J. Soward. Right there, you say that is a fool play. Miller just streaking down the sideline, and he comes away with a drop ball. Odd numbers on the day. Two big touchdown throws, one interception to Hassani Abdul-Salam.
If I'm UCLA, I test the line here. I bring a little heat.
And they did last play as well.
Otten right here. Here comes the pressure. He's hit as he throws. It's incomplete.
Otten's down and hurt, Bill.
They did bring heat in a major way.
Otten is down and hurt. He took a tremendous shot that time by a free blitzer.
Weldon Ford, I believe, is the Bruin that laid the load on Brad Otten. And Brad will have to be attended to. He's down at the 11-yard line before we get play underway again. Watch it coming blind side, Weldon Ford.
Check it out real time right here. Weldon Ford he went by his guy, and he took full advantage of the shot onto Otten. As clean as hit as you can come across right there, but Otten in a lot of pain.
And that's looking shoulder, collarbone area.
Yeah.
And if you're USC, you're not just concerned about, obviously, the end of this game here. You're thinking about next week against Notre Dame and a possible bowl berth. So Brad Otten, this is so important for the Trojans.
Otten doesn't, when he was trading off last year with Kyle Walker, it looks as though either ribs, Bill, could be possible high ribs,
rib
cartilage. If it's rib cartilage, that's more painful than having a broken rib, but you're not going to return either way. One of the team doctors, Jim Taboni, an old friend of mine.
Yeah, mine too. Great
days
guy.
gone by, Jim Taboni down there as well, helping Otten out. Brad Otten has played tremendous today as well. I have no problem in saying that he's made some great decisions and really led that team on some tremendous drives.
There's Weldon Ford, the one that put the hit on him. Tell you what, Brad Otten has been one of the most courageous quarterbacks you'll ever want to find this season. He hit as many times as he has. What a kick by Rand. Now Gibby's got to let it bounce. He shouldn't fool with it now, and it's going to be down at the 19-yard line. But a big kick, 61 yards, and Brad Otten being attended to immediately. And Weldon Ford on the other side. 31-21. Trojans by 10, but the Bruins have the ball on Fox Sports West. We'll see in a minute. Byron Hansen, assistant trainer there with Brad Otten, who is moving around rather well right now. He'll give a couple of warm-up throws in a moment, see if he can give it a go when the Trojans get the ball again. Here comes Skip Hicks. Skip Hicks first into the secondary. Skip Hicks still moving. He's all the way out to the 43-yard line. First down, UCLA. Cassano and Knight made the stop. 24 yards for Skip Hicks and a first down for the blue and gold.
This is what you do. You run right off tackle, right behind Chad Oberhauser. There goes the train again. I gave him his nickname, and he's rumbling. Sammy Knight tries to get his best shot. Hicks, good for 23.
He ran right over Prentice Hill.
Bails out the Bruins out of actually bailed him back, got some yards back off a great kick by Wren, the SC punter.
Trojans digging in defensively. They're up by 10, 14 minutes to play in regulation. Hicks Lowered his head at the line of scrimmage, maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Claiborne tripped him up. Brad Otten feeling the pain, but feeling the anxiety and the pressure to get back in and perform in this crosstown rivalry.
Swinging gate.
The
Watch
swinging
this.
gate play. McElroy wants to throw it back to McNown, but they have it covered. And now McElroy to the 49-yard line. They wanted to throw it back to McNown. That was the play, but SC was so confused and so dazed, they just stood there.
Well, the guy wasn't going to be fooled this time. Brian Kelly stayed where he needed to stay.
So did Sammy Knight.
And so did Sammy Knight, because that is a throwback play. UCLA ran this play against Washington State 2 weeks ago. Actually, 3 weeks ago. Now McElroy goes out after getting dinged that time, but he did the right thing. He got some positive yards when he could.
Remember, the Bruins converted on 4 third downs on their last drive. Can they convert here at midfield? No, sir. Trojans with the big sack at the 44. Matt Kennelly right there for USC. Willie Lowry was there also.
Matt Kennelly on the stop.
And for Willie Lowry, it's been a disappointing year. We thought UCLA might target him, but he comes up big time from his left end position.
He sure did. He beat Dan Codd into the inside, and Chris Ferris got his knee turned a little bit on that play. May come down to a little battle of the punters right here to see who can gain some field position. SC having 2 return guys back right now.
Parker and Cook. Saylor will let it fly. They'll let it go down to the 2 and into the end zone. Mary Parker, it'll come out to the 20-yard line. Will we see Koffler or will we see Otten? We're going to see Matt Koffler when we come back after this. A new quarterback for the Trojans of the University of Southern California, up by 10 in the crosstown rivalry. Roy on the swinging gate play a moment ago, banged up, trying to gather himself on the sideline as we welcome you back to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. 66th renewal. SC UCLA new quarterback Matt Koffler, who has thrown a 97-yard touchdown pass this year. R.J. Soward caught it and ran with it against Illinois.
I was going to say 97 and that 156 came on one play. He found number 18 too, so he's...
But you say it's the ground attack from here on in.
Oh, you got it. Yeah, right now, I mean, he ran in on a TV timeout. He was standing in the huddle. He didn't know what to do. He had all kinds of time on his hands.
Bruins, everybody in the box pinching in. Walters going straight ahead. Good gain on first down. He's going to gain almost 7. Picking and choosing his way through the line. Sean Walters stopped by Abdul McCullough.
Dan-Juan McGee, good matchup. Dan-Juan McGee,
7-yard
Travis Claridge that time. McGee saying, hey, I got held. Talking to the ref after that play. Take a look as they draw up some schemes.
Chris,
Again, motion changes a lot of things. That's that little squiggly line across the board there. That'll change a lot of people's assignments, just sending one guy in motion.
Second down for the Trojans, and Koffler in for Brad Otten. Again, inside handoff, no play. No play, flags down, might be too much time. And that's inexperience with your young quarterback too, not noticing the time clock over the goalposts at the end of the Rose Bowl.
You know, it's interesting. Any field I used to walk on in the initial steps onto the field, Homer Smith would be standing right next to me. He says, you know where the clocks are? You know where the clocks are? That's a little brew for you. Get that little brew.
He's on his own time clock right now.
Aren't most young kids?
Yeah. There is no time clock.
I've thrown my watches away.
There is no time clock.
I quit wearing my watch a few years ago.
Rob Wygod, your little one here today? You betcha. 11:21 is the clock. Now moves, and for the Trojans, this will bring up a 2nd and 9. Koffler will throw. Plenty of time. Going long. Got a man, it's Soward! R.J. Soward! Touchdown, 78 yards!
Find number 18.
There's a difference in the way he and Otten throw a long ball. Otten's is a little more direct. to throw it and let you run under it. And that's what R.J. did. Third touchdown for R.J. Soward.
And the longest of the bunt, 78 yards right there to R.J. Soward. If you had to pick a player of the game, he's an obvious choice right now, number 18.
It's a given. 253 yards on 5 catches for R.J. Hello, Matt Koffler. Well, it's been a nice little tidy year for Matt Koffler. He's still on a 97-yard TD and that long touchdown to Soward again. Those are the longest pass plays in history. We mentioned the 97-yard one was the longest impact in history. That's old news. New news is moments ago. And here it is again. Koffler on a 2nd and 9.
Koffler has all sorts of time to throw. The defender falls down. And Soward, who's so impressive, one, Bill, with his speed. Secondly, he has just tremendous moves, having been a tailback in high school. Was originally at Eisenhower, then moved on to Fontana. Right there, first down again, Trojan.
We are back, and the conquest right now is on for USC, leading 38-21. Soward again.
Take a look, Koffler, all kinds of time to throw, and he did get it out. Boy, he spun it deep. R.J. Soward, tell me how many yards he has on the year.
Here we go. He is averaging today 54.5 yards a catch. For the year, he has 14 catches for 495 yards. A new USC single game record today. Well, JJ did it a couple of years ago, and now it's USC's turn with RJ.
Bill, and I would put money on it. I would bet that it's also a freshman Pac-10 record. I don't know if we have that available, but I would imagine that's a freshman Pac-10 record also.
Coming out party for that guy right there. He's returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns. We knew his explosiveness, but they just weren't throwing him the football. You know, a couple of weeks back, he made a great catch. Then he dropped one in a clutch situation. And I know he was taking some heat for that, but he's come back with a vengeance today.
This game's a little bit reminiscent right now of the 1990 game. We're going back and forth, finally ending 45-42.
Right, the Marinovich-Maddox game. We'll see if UCLA can come right back and make things interesting again. McElroy, completion, 18 yards from McDowell. Cusano the stop for USC.
The Bruins already to midfield. Another look at the guy who's fairly shaven. Soward.
We'll give the Irish something to think about next week.
So the Irish will be practicing against that little slip screen that he ran for 2 touchdowns on.
Cade setting up a screen, got some blockers. Skip Hicks tripped up. Sammy Knight really came in there and busted it up. And just got a shoelace on Skip, and he gets tumbled down just short of midfield.
And Sammy Knight, if he doesn't make that play, it's going for about 20 more yards, because Hicks, right now, the Bruins behind the play calling of Al Borges, they do a great job of screening, drawing. Al Borges has a ton of great screens in his duffel bag over his shoulder, and that was one of them, but Sammy Knight coming up with a big play.
And he's turning that duffel bag over and emptying every play out of it right now. He's not leaving anything. Here's a throw to the outside, complete. And Dalen McCutcheon just grabbed on to McElroy. If McElroy gets out of that, he's scoring.
Dangerous throw to the wide side of the field, but you match up your best receiver against their best cornerback. If he doesn't make the tackle right away, if the ball's not a real high throw, McCutcheon comes in, makes a nice play, but if he misses, you're so far out on the fringe right there, McElroy possibly breaks the tackle, you get up the field for a big game.
That's what's known as being out on an island. When you're a cornerback. McElroy, 6 for 123. He's having a good game, Tom, for UCLA. Up the middle goes Skip Hicks. He is close to a first down. Was terminated there immediately. Just kind of went right down at the sticks. Grant Pearsall said, no more, Skip. Clock is moving. As we have mentioned, every down you've got to at least take a peek at the clock and see how much is remaining. Both teams, full complement of timeouts, though. Each team has 3. 9:22 as the clock starts again, and SC up by 17. But the Bruins haven't folded the tent yet. In Trojan territory at the 32. Cade McNown will play action. Steps up in the pocket. Throwing, could be intercepted, knocked away. Grant Pearsall had the best chance at it, intended for Dan Farmer. It'll be second down.
They had Danny Farmer that time on a short corner. The ball comes out a little bit late. Pearsall has time. Pearsall from Villa Park. Locally, a real good athlete in his own right. Battling with Farmer. Tremendous two-sport athlete himself. And that time the ball just, you see when it comes out late, the defenders have a chance to catch up to the ball. Right now, again, UCLA, second and long.
At the 32 again. McNown will run. He's got some room. Now trying to shuffle to the outside. Gets caught. Sammy Knight, sure tackler. You know, I've watched a lot of SC games this year, and Sammy having a great year, but I've seen him miss a few throughout the course of this season, especially at the beginning of the year. Sammy had a tendency to miss some tackles, but today he is right on it, wrapping up and finishing whenever he gets an opportunity.
And remember the Cal game, remember the shoe caper where Knight, along with Darrell Russell, Brian Kelly, Larry Parker, they had some shoes that they ended up went and traded. They were all suspended for a game. It happened to be the Cal game, and Pat Barnes went off, but they miss him when he's out of the lineup.
SC had won 3 in a row up until that point. Now here's the play. Explain this play that the quarterback runs.
All this is what has been known in the UCLA playbook since 1980 as the freeze call play. Quarterback has the opportunity to call it any time during the course of the game. He calls it when he senses the defense teeing off a little bit.
On the defense.
And what he does is go to the line of scrimmage without a play called on the line freeze, goes through his cage, and just a little extra emphasis on the hut. What ends up happening, if the center feels any movement, he's coached to snap the ball. Quarterback takes a knee, plays dead right now. No one else on the line moves. It's an easy call for the officials. And it's an easy 5 yards. But what happens is you slow down that defensive rush a little bit.
3 wides to the top, 1 to the near side. In motion is Grieve. McNown looking back the other way, going towards the end zone. Is it complete? Incomplete. Incomplete, out of bounds. Although Eric Scott caught it, they're going to say that he was out. Prentice Hill on the coverage for the Trojans. And it'll be second down, but there's a flag down in the backfield, which could mean a hold on UCLA, which would set them back a bit, or possibly a late hit on McNown. It is a late hit. Roughing on Cade McNown.
Very costly penalty that time.
Huge penalty to the Trojans.
Keith Burns and Robinson right there. Boy, I tell you.
JR is going to take a little walk and cool down after that one.
Yeah, automatic first down now puts the Bruins on the 10, 7:54 to play. They can't waste a lot of time here. They really have to stick it in the end zone. McNown has been so good down by the goal line today. Twice on pass plays, electing to run it in.
However, if UCLA gets down to a 4th down situation, they will kick the field goal. I would think you're 3 scores away. You need 3 scores no matter what. So you'll kick the 3 if you get to the 4th down. But they need the 6, quite obviously. McNown throwing, got his man down at the 5. Quickly tackled by Kelly is Dan Farmer. Brian Kelly certainly wrapped up quickly there, but Dan Farmer, your goal line 3rd down target. It'll be second down and goal. This is what you're talking about right here. The clock's moving. You're not out of bounds. You can't waste time between these plays right here, or it'll haunt you late. Got to get up to the line. Got to have some plays called.
Farmer, of course, his father played the game. He mentioned that. His uncle Dave, fullback, SC, back in the 70s. There's a lot of ties there. I wonder, they're probably all watching. Probably going to watch this game, too, again.
George played in 67 and 68. On the delay, going nowhere. SC smelled that out. Sammy Knight and Darrell Russell. You know, the superstars have been the best players for USC today. The guys that have come with all the accolades. Russell, 96, and Knight, number 9. in a big game they have performed.
I just wish I would have known about Sauer, and I would have read up on him a little more. I knew he was a good player, but when he came in with only 9 catches, I said, wow, at least they're just not getting the ball a lot. Half of that 18, number 9 right there, absolutely right. Huge play.
9 tackles and the interception for a touchdown for Sammy Knight. Now 3rd down for UCLA. They've got to get in the end zone. Whistles. No play.
Might be a delay again. You know.
And as mentioned, Bob Toledo, as he looks into the ever-giving afternoon.
Yeah, Bob Toledo, having been a quarterback himself at San Francisco State, set many records up there. He knows 25-second clock is all on the quarterback. You gotta keep your eye. I know it's hard trying to keep both eyes on 11 guys, and you gotta sneak a peek once in a while.
UCLA moving straight into the end zone, full of Trojan fans and their band out at this end.
See if they don't dash this time.
On 3rd down, McNown looking end zone and incomplete, out of bounds. Out of bounds. McElroy, the catch, will see it again, will make a decision. There's a flag in the backfield, so I don't know if it would have mattered anyway. There's a flag back at the 18-yard line, but here is the catch. In or out?
McNown has a corner route. That's in.
Ooh, it looked in.
That's in. That's a bad call. He had his foot in by a foot, right where Jimmy Mack is pointing, where his foot came down. The referee right on top of it. It's a shame right there. As you said, Billy, there is a flag down. It's going to go against the Bruins possibly as well. Insult to injury.
Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. It's a good catch by McElroy.
Watch his foot in the bottom corner right there. That is a catch.
Yeah, it was a catch, a blown call, but it wouldn't have counted anyway. So it's irrelevant at this point. The penalty against the Bruins. So we can't say that the Bruins had a touchdown taken away.
Well, there's always calls like this. Eric Affolter a couple of years ago bobbled the ball out of bounds. They got a touch. Well, you know, that was at the Coliseum. They called that a touchdown. The game always balances out. It always balances itself out.
But now the Bruins, I think, just have to get field goal range. They need at least 3. I'd throw something underneath to get 10 or 15 yards. Instead, McNown's going for the end zone, and it's incomplete to McElroy. Now you're setting up a long field goal for Burton. I might have gone the other route. You're really, I know you want 6, and the odds of you getting it aren't very good. Here's McElroy streaking to the post right here, right there.
Brian Kelly running with McElroy that time.
Almost
Looks
got
as
it.
though he might have gotten a hand on it, did Kelly.
Well, now Merton kicking in his final game as a Bruin of UCLA, the former freshman All-America, slumped a bit in his sophomore and junior years, having a pretty good senior year in a must-make situation from 46 yards, and he got it. So Bjorn Merton keeps the Bruins breathing. 6:12 remaining, 38-24, but the Trojans still in command here on Fox.
It's hard on us, you know.
It's the stop and go.
You never stop.
Traffic can be tough.
It's ridiculous.
You gotta sort of stay on top of it.
It's tough being a cab, but when you get that Chevron with Techron, you know, it helps keep my engine
clean because it's a dirty job. Someone has to do it.
All the help.
No gasoline cleans your engine better than Chevron with Techron. Chevron, simply smarter.
I fantasize about Europe.
The drivers over there are crazy, man.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
At Home Base, you know our everyday low prices are low. Well, this week they're going even lower. You'll save with base buys throughout the store. So whatever your project is, hurry in today. Go to the base, Home Base, where prices aren't just low, they're lower. At Home Base, you know our everyday low prices are low. Well, this week they're going even lower. You'll save with base buys throughout the store. So whatever your project is, hurry in today. Go to the base, Home Base, where prices aren't just low, they're lower.
You're watching the best of USC and UCLA football on Fox Sports West 2.
That's Steve Marshall, offensive line coach for UCLA. exhorting his troops. I mentioned right at the start of the telecast how Bob Toledo had never lost in this series. He was on John Robinson's staff during JR's first tenure at USC, and then under Terry Donahue as offensive coordinator before taking over, Toledo was 2-0. So he has never tasted defeat in an SC-UCLA game. Now, SC is ready for the onside kick.
But I think right here, you don't onside kick with 6:12 left. I think you got what you want. You drive it deep.
And they are driving it deep. You'll take your chances at the 20. This is a great kick. It bounces back to the 1. The Bruins. Oh, a wonderful break for UCLA. It bounced at the 1 and came back.
That's smart football right there, and a great kick by Andrzejak. They knew exactly what they had right there. They knew the Trojans would expect onside kick. Everybody up. What happens? You have an opportunity, as Andrzejak did, to out-kick the cover, the return guys, and then he gets the nice roll. He has a lot of juice on the ball, and it rolls back.
You're saying a heads-up play for UCLA. I think it's a heads-up play for the Trojans, too, because Miller could have easily said, bye-bye, forget about it, it's going in the end zone. But he hustled back and was able to corral it as it came back towards him.
Well, return guys are coached, so you have to go back.
You better go back, yeah. There's always times you can take a nap, though. Hopper, the quarterback. Walters, couple, out to the 9. Bruins need a 3 and out. Wilmer the stop from his linebacker position.
And Bill, I'm gonna throw out a little kicking game strategy here.
Okay.
Bruins hold at the 3rd down. Do you call a timeout after the 3rd down?
No.
You don't waste any timeouts.
No, because
okay.
you may need to spend all 3 stopping the clock on the next series.
I agree.
If you take an onside. Because you'll still have about 4.5 to play, maybe 4. Up to Walker to the 6. I want to save the 3 at this point because you need 2 scores. Weldon Ford, the stop. Now, I'll throw it to you.
Please.
You're Mike Riley, offensive coordinator. You've got Matt Koffler in there.
Do I throw the ball right now?
Throw the ball right now. You just give it up.
I'm going to run because I'm buried in my own end zone. Koffler, I got lucky one time. And when I say I got lucky, I got protection. I got Soward streaking down the sideline. The defender fell down. I completed the ball. I got a 78-yard touchdown. I don't throw right here.
Okay, we'll see. Bruins late getting to their defensive position. Soward's in motion, and Koffler will throw. Little screen, and the Bruins have it covered. Out to the 12-yard line, Anthony Cobbs finally made the stop on Lavelle Woods. Lavelle gave it a great effort. He caught it behind, and he almost scooted out and got loose.
Lavelle Woods almost makes a great play. He avoids a couple tackles, but it's a very safe call. Riley calls a screen pass. You may as well have run the ball.
You win, I lose. At least you're maybe in more tune with the UCLA staff than I am. They call a timeout here. We're back in a minute on Fox.
We are there. Fox Sports News. We are there. Hey, hey. We are there. Hey, hey. Fox Sports News. Everywhere. We are there. Fox Sports News. We are there. Hey, hey.
If you haven't seen Extra Sports Live weekday mornings on Fox Sports West 2, you've missed...
Inside my life was inside. My football season was very different inside me, although it was a down season, but it was very interesting. Puppies, Extra Sports.
1 bourbon, 1 scotch, and 1 beer. A 1 bourbon and 1 scotch.
Catch Extra Sports Live weekday mornings from 6 to 9 only on Fox Sports West 2. You're watching the best of USC and UCLA football on Fox Sports West 2.
We are back 38-24, SC punting. Guidry's got it at the 45, but he's going to run into his own man. Bell was there trying to block, and Guidry kind of ran right into him. 37-yard kick, 5-yard return. Hill made the stop for the Trojans, but now UCLA down by 2 touchdowns. 4:26 remaining. They just spent one of their 3 timeouts. but they've got great field position at the 42.
By David Bell, 7-yard return by Paul Goodrich.
And I guess if you're SC and you wanted to either win it with your defense or win it with your offense, whatever this year, I would want your defense out on the field the way they played this year.
The problem is their defense has been out on the field
a long time
now.
Here's Cade McNown once again, running more in this game than he has all season long. Inside the 40 down to the 38, Willie Lowry was there for the Trojans. And quickly to the line. So they're in their 2-minute offense. They move into the 2-minute offense with 4 minutes to play. Second down and a long 5 to 37. Cade over the middle. No, drop. Incomplete. At the 33-yard line. Never had a hold of it was Jamal Clark. Chris Claiborne, the big hit. And now it's quickly 3rd down.
What's interesting, when I asked about that timeout, Billy, I think it actually was a wise decision to take one because you end up losing a lot of time with, 4.5 minutes on the clock. That clock starts going so fast. When it goes inside 2 minutes, you got to make some plays. Right now, the Bruins, 3rd and 5. It's 2-down territory. They got to at least get close to the marker, if not convert right on this play.
Yeah, you're going for it on 4th down. No matter where you are, you need touchdowns, not field goals. McNown going long, though. Oh, he was held, wasn't he? Incomplete. I thought for a minute he might have been. Jamal Clark, maybe he just had that train on his back, that piano working.
I think he was held also.
Let's see if he was held.
Well, we came back. We didn't see the hold, actually. But
I thought of it might before that Prentice Hill might have gotten a hand on it.
14, Prentice Hill had a little tug on 96, slowed him down. Right now, even a bigger play.
Oh, here's your game right here. Here's your game. UCLA doesn't get it here. I think SC's going to win. 4th down. And 5 at the 37 for Cade McNown and the Bruins. Over the middle. Did he catch it?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. At the 40-yard line is absolutely right. It's Mike Reeves, the show hands. And the 1st down for UCLA as they stay alive.
That's called pumping a little life into you right there. You convert on 4th. But now you have to be very, very conscious of the clock. You got to move, call multiples of plays, and get down and get it snapped. And gain about 30.
McNown 23 for 37, nearing 300 yards. Cade. Incomplete. Almost intercepted by that man again. Sam Knight. Sammy on Dan Farmer almost had his second pick and possibly his second touchdown off of an interception.
Bill, right now, about the last 6 pass plays the Bruins have run, they've tried to go to the outside. They've tried to throw corners. They've tried to throw an out right here. What has to happen, there's vulnerability inside the Trojan defense. Bring 4 wides out on the field. Right now, they have 4 wides. You watch for Derek Ayers underneath working the inside because that's where you may gain a mismatch inside.
McNown, is he looking inside? He's in trouble. Kennedy chasing him. McNown throws across the middle, complete. Inside the 20-yard line, down to the 17. What a throw by Cade McNown. Kennedy was in hot pursuit, and he found McElroy going the other way. It'll be a 1st down for the Bruins.
They tried to get the ball to Ayers underneath. McNown pressured, and he played football again. He rolled to his left, and then again throwing across his body for the 1st down.
3 minutes left. Cade McNown throwing to a wide open Skip Hicks. He gets out of bounds. Good play at the 10-yard line. Gain of 8 on 1st down. Now remember, the Bruins 2 timeouts left. Down by 2 touchdowns. 3:07 remaining.
Wise use of the block that time. Good play selection. Getting the ball to Skip Hicks. Getting the ball out of bounds and stopping the clock. Take a look. Let's take a look at the play before McNown becomes a football player, and a good one at that. He wings the ball across his body into Jim McElroy across the middle of the field. Tremendous play by number 18.
2nd down and 2. McNown straight drop, looking, throwing over the middle, complete. Down to the 1, and is he in? I think he might be in. The clock will stop with the chains being moved. That was Skip Hicks. He's down near and into the end zone. It's going to be 1st and goal on the 1.
Again, Bruins hurt the Trojans right up the gut, right up the middle of the defense. A little delay underneath, just a short little halfback delay. He actually does get pushed into the end zone by about 3 Trojans. And right here, I think you just play the safe game and you sneak it over.
SC's going to gain some time, though. Hicks, touchdown, UCLA. No, Keith Brown, UCLA. So he snuck in on us, and he snuck in on USC. Touchdown, Bruins.
This puts a lot of pressure on Koffler when he comes back. The Bruins will go ahead and kick the extra point here. Take a look. Keith Brown, a nice block by Craig Walendi, just burying Chris Claiborne, knocking him out of the way. And that's a nice hold. Dan Cotty, the offensive right tackle, along with Gully. Sean Stewart, the center, doing a nice job up front.
Bjorn Merton to draw UCLA to within 7. Has it. Well, the storied history of USC and UCLA, one thing they've never had is an overtime. And if somehow the Bruins could stop the Trojans and get the ball back and score, we could see the first OT in crosstown rivalry history. But we're getting ahead of ourselves because SC will get the ball in just a moment. 9 plays, 42 yards. Here's your Keith Brown score.
Boy, Craig Walendi, I'm sorry, nice leverage block right there for Keith Brown, the true freshman. You're going to hear a lot about number 1. He's built like a tailback, has a great set of legs. Good-looking guy. Bob Toledo right there in the kickoff huddle.
John, you can't make her clean up all by herself. Yeah, but the Dodgers are on.
Piazza, Hundley, slug it out in L.A. Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. on Fox Sports West 2. Classic college hoops on Fox Sports West 2. It's the best of USC and UCLA basketball. This week, jump back to 1992 when the Trojans and Wildcats went down to the wire. Saturday night at 7 on Fox Sports West 2.
2:49 remaining. Your scoring drive a moment ago, 9:42 and just a minute 37. 80,644 witnessing this contest this afternoon. All right, what are we going to do on the kick here?
This is what happens again. SC has to expect an onside kick. You have to respect the fact that the Bruins can onside kick. However, I really feel Andrzak, as well as he kicked the time before, I think you drive the ball deep again. You let your defense play football. You have some timeouts. You might have to use them. I'm going to throw it on Koffler. I'm going to say, you know what?
If you have Otten in the game, maybe you think differently.
Beat me.
You've got the backup quarterback in there, so Matt Koffler could be in the spotlight momentarily. I agree with you. I think they're going to kick it deep.
Oh, yeah. Andrzak has had great control.
Because if you give the Trojans the ball here and they move just a little bit and kick a field goal, game's over. You let your defense, who's made a stop, and they're
even if there's a change of possession, you lose about 50 yards of field. So now you got to play the field conservation game, which is drive the ball deep, pin them down inside the 15-yard line.
Trojans have their hands guys out there, obviously. Their backs and receivers ready to go. They are going to onside, and Bastianelli misses, and it goes out of bounds. And SC will get it. Boy, it went right over Bastianelli, who's the guy you wanted to go to for SC. And the Bruins had, Aaron Rock streaking down the side, and he couldn't get it.
They had an opportunity right here. The ball takes the perfect hop, just what you want. It takes the high hop over Bastianelli's head, but it takes it too high. I know there was a lot of conversation on the Bruins sideline just then because I know you can go either way right there. I thoroughly believe, though, if your defense is playing their heart out, as the UCLA defense did, I think, and you're given the same formation you had the kickoff before, I think you kick it deep and you let things happen. You try to get them inside the 20-yard line, and you put it on number 13.
Koffler will throw to Soward on the screen. It's worked before. Why not now? Soward. And that's a good gain on first down. So staying aggressive. USC, Koffler to his guy, Soward. That's as good as a run. You're not going to get picked here.
Well, this is better than a run because if you got the ball in his hands right there, watch him go again, breaking tackles. The only fear there, and he has both hands wrapped on the ball, would be a fumble, but he did a nice job of covering up right there in a crucial time.
Second down for the Trojans. Up by a touchdown, coming up on 2 minutes. Inside handoff. Sermons has a first down for USC down to the 41-yard line. Clock will stop, but the Trojans get a new set of downs. Now the Bruins will have to start spending those timeouts, and if USC can get one more first down, I think the game is over.
Yeah.
So this is the stop time now for Bob Toledo.
Yeah, you have to stop them. Hopefully, if you're UCLA, for no gain here, you call a timeout immediately, put some pressure on them. After a second down, again, if there's no gain or little gain, you call a timeout. You're hoping to get in some third and long situation where you can blitz and yet feel comfortable about it.
Will the streak come to an end? SC hasn't won in 5 straight. Up the middle, Sermons, and there should be a timeout immediately called by UCLA. They wait a couple of seconds and finally do. Travis Kershke, playing his final game after an illustrious Bruin career, makes the stop. There he is out of Esperanza. Back with the finish of this one. Trojans, though, up by 7 here on Fox.
The Honda 97 clearance is coming. Timing is everything, isn't it?
This is weird. It's great, but it's weird.
We knew something was up. The foreman wanted to see us right away. They say nobody wins the lottery? Oh, yeah?
You're watching the best of USC and UCLA football on Fox Sports West 2.
Just a minute 37 remaining. And for USC trying to end a long losing streak to the Bruins, and Bob Toledo looking for a stop and then a miracle. Second down and 10. Bruins have just one timeout left. Inside again, and the Bruins... Fumble! Bruins have it! Kasani Abdul-Salam with the football to the outside. Salam with the football at the 37. The Bruins have a chance. Lavelle Woods coughed it up. There's a flag down at the 31. Lavelle Woods laid it down. Abdul-Salam picked it up. Now let's check the flag. Could be an illegal block on the Bruins on the attempted return of the fumble.
5-yard face mask.
A face mask on SC.
On USC on the return.
Well, I guess you'd expect it to come down to this.
Take a look at the play right here. Koffler hands the ball. Lavelle Woods, he gets jarred. Dan Juan McGee rips the ball out. Ball's on the turf, and Kasani Abdul-Salam, and he's almost capable of going the other way. DeLon Washington gets flagged for the face mask right there. Huge play for the Bruins, and
they have
never
a timeout.
Say never right here.
They got a timeout too in their pocket. First down at the 44. It's SC and UCLA. What else did you expect as mentioned? McNown down by a touchdown. Looking, throwing, completing. McElroy's got some room. He's down at the 40-yard line. What a big tackle by Prentice Hill. McElroy looked like he had some room to roam. 17 yards and a first down for UCLA into Trojan territory.
You think McNown's not a tough guy. As soon as he threw the ball, 96, Darrell Russell squashed him up and calling the next play at the line.
Kane looking, complete. Jamal Clark, is he out of bounds? No. Clock continues to move. That's a break for SC. Sammy Knight made the big play before Jamal could get out of bounds. 1 minute to play. It's second down. You don't want to waste it down here if you're UCLA, but Cade McNown does, throwing it into the ground.
Bruins very efficient right there, using the 2-minute offense, Bill. They've learned a lot by mistakes they've made. Obviously, they're paying attention paying attention in the meetings right now, Al Borges and Bob Toledo especially have to be pleased with the execution of the 2-minute offense. Right there, so much lays on his shoulders right there, McNown 18, because he is the man that has to pull the trigger.
Third down, you're thinking first down obviously here. The touchdown thought will come later.
Watch for Derek Ayers again, working inside over the middle. They may keep Grieve in to block on Russell.
Nobody in the backfield. It's 3rd and 5. McNown throwing, looking, caught, down at the 10. Rodney Lee out of nowhere. First down UCLA, 23 yards.
And I tell you, Rodney Lee out of nowhere. This ball drops in from out of nowhere. McNown with a sharpshooter again. Rodney Lee coming up with a spectacular catch right there. He turns over his shoulder. The ball's halfway there. It's a corner route. First down at the 10.
Trojans on their heels. 1st and 10 at the 11 with 47 seconds. McNown over the middle, incomplete and almost picked. McElroy was the intended receiver. Claiborne some pressure. It'll be 2nd down. Everyone in the house on their feet right now.
And not the time for a mix-up between quarterback and receiver. Quarterback read quick out. Receiver read slant. Had he thrown the slant, it would have been 6 points Bruins. Southern Cal on their heels again, Bill. I tell you, UCLA has come storming back, but remember last time they got down to the 10 or the time before, they weren't able to punch it in.
44 seconds left, 2nd down. They can get a first down without a touchdown at the 1. They'll run it. Hicks up the middle. Touchdown UCLA!
It is deafening. And it's pretty exciting. Oh, I'll tell you, this place, for the people who walked out of the tunnel and are out in the parking lot, I'm sure they're trying to run back. If they're not in the Fox Sports tent, they need to be in here.
39 seconds left. Merton will try to tie the game, and unless SC could do something, we could go OT. Merton down, up, good. We're tied at 38. And you are witnessing another classic in the USC UCLA crosstown rivalry. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff.
I think we got ourselves a ball game.
All right, we're not done in regulation yet, but here's your touchdown with Skip Hicks. They ran the ball. And right there, his 19th touchdown of the season.
And where'd they run the ball? Right up the heart of the Southern Cal defense. Touchdown, Bruins.
All right, Bruins were down 17 points with 10:59 to go. And Bob Toledo happy. Now, if you're UCLA, you don't kick it to Sauer.
No, you don't.
Sauer.
Echo that, echo that, echo that.
Give it to him at the 35, but if you're a Trojan, you want number 18 to touch it, because it's magic when he's touched the ball this afternoon.
Bill, if you're Southern Cal right now, you're shell-shocked. You are shell-shocked because they have come back from the dead. UCLA back once again. This is reminiscent of all the games that have been played in this series. It's not over. I hate to throw one more cliche out. Not over till it's over, of course, but I think we got an OT game. And I said early on, you think we'd have an opportunity? And you with your crystal ball, you didn't shine it up enough.
Well, SC has an opportunity, and Koffler could get good field position. Andrzejczyk's got to be thinking, can I drive it through the end zone? SC wants RJ to get it. They'll squib it, and the Trojans will get decent field position to the 35, 37-yard line.
Now again, Bill, this is what SC has to be very conscious of. A turnover here. Yeah. If you put Koffler back to pass, UCLA is going to be blitzing him. You risk the opportunity of a fumble. And I'll tell you what, John Robinson, he's been around in enough battles of these. you don't want to give the Bruins the ball on the plus 30. You're going to run into a lot of problems there. Koffler getting the play call from Riley comes into the game. And Abrams, not a super efficient kicker for Southern Cal.
Abrams, they got to get it down to about the 30, I think, for Abrams to have a good shot at it. Everybody up again. On first down for Koffler. Will he be the hero? Throwing. Incomplete. He wanted Bastianelli out at about the 45. Remember now, SC's got all 3 timeouts of the Trojans with 27 seconds left. They'll have a second down at the 38. Adam Abrams is your kicker, and he is getting set. Remember the Rose Bowl, he hit a 46-yarder, so you know he's got at least that kind of range with pressure.
If you're Rocky Long, the defensive coordinator over at UCLA, this is what you want. You want the backup quarterback struggling in a loud environment with a lot of heat on him, having to make some pressure throws.
Bastianelli in motion. Koffler looking, lofting, throwing, not close. Wanted Soward, it will be third down.
I'll tell you why I argue this too. If you don't get a completion here, they may have to punt right here. And if you're UCLA, you go after it. You try to block the punt. You never know. And you have Bjorn Merton, let's not forget, who's capable of delivering in crunch time, having been a first-team All-America after his freshman year. And he's deadly between 30 and 39 yards.
And it's interesting. We talked to Bjorn Merton earlier on our UCLA Magazine show this week, and through his entire 4-year career, it has never come down to Bjorn Merton to win a game. It could happen here. Koffler under pressure, looking, going long. Chris Miller's out there. Caught! Miller's got it. Flag down. Miller's got it at the 23. SC has an opportunity with 11 seconds remaining.
What happened, the referee misses a call in the backfield. Weldon Ford gets tackled pursuing Koffler, and then I think they're going to call Chris Miller for the interference. It may be offensive interference.
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Really interesting right there.
This is the biggest call of the game, quite obviously. UCLA appeared to have position.
Interference by the defense. Since the pass was complete, the penalty declined. Person 10.
The ball was
USC
picked,
timeout.
and Miller somehow came up with it. What an incredible grab by Chris Miller. John Robinson and the Trojans now could have an opportunity to win the game. Look at this lob by Koffler.
Oh, a great opportunity for Southern Cal to win the game because they got away. Boy, I tell you what, Miller going over the top of Kasani Abdul-Salam makes a heck of a catch. Mike Riley there along with John Robinson. And Bob Toledo shaking his head saying, how did that happen?
How did it happen is right. Now, Adam Abrams will be shoved into the spotlight in just a couple of moments. 11 seconds remaining. 38-38 is your score. Now, SC, if they're thinking a couple of things. Do we kick right away and maybe not fumble it? Or do we run one play into the middle of the field to give them a better angle?
Well, they're kicking right away.
They're going to kick right now. Abrams will kick, and it'll be about a 40-yarder.
And remember, Abrams has had 4 blocks.
4 blocked. He kicks a low ball. But the Trojans with a miracle chance to win it in regulation, possibly, after an unbelievable catch by Miller.
I think this is a questionable decision on Southern Cal's part because Abrams not a sure chip shot from 41 yards. Secondly, he's had 4 blocks
and the Bruins are
all season.
The Bruins will spend their final timeout.
You have to ice him right now.
And Coach Toledo wants the whole team on his side. 80,000 plus witnessing another thriller. And I go back to that throw and catch by Miller. Yeah, it looked like he might have climbed the back of Abdul-Salam, but hey, give Miller credit. He took it right away from Abdul-Salam, who appeared to have picked it easily.
The Bruins had 2 defenders.
Yeah.
Abdul McCullough was there with Abdul-Salam, and
Matt Koffler.
And Miller comes down with it.
Oh, Miller. Huge huge play. And there's Abdul Salam, who has an interception today, but would have rather had that last one, quite obviously. But with Brad Otten out of the game, Koffler throws a touchdown to Soward, throws a huge pass to Miller, and now the Trojans poised to win the game in regulation. 11 seconds remaining. The ball will be resting at the 23-yard line, which means the kick from the left hash will be delivered from about the 31, which would make it a 41-yard attempt for Adam Abrams.
Well, the offense is coming back on the
coming
field.
back now.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a better decision, we think.
Well,
give them one play into the middle of the field, they might get a few yards too.
No, I'm not.
I would keep it if I'm Koffler. I wouldn't even risk the handoff. I'd move it and keep it to the middle. He's going to throw. Koffler, end zone, Bastianelli, incomplete.
Well, I tell you what, you're playing with fire and kerosene in a lot of matches right there. That's not a good play.
5 seconds remain. If you get sacked, then you push them way back.
That's a daring play.
No.
That's a very daring play. Koffler.
This should be the final play of the game. Time will expire while this one's in the air. SC will win it or will go to overtime with Adam Abrams from 41 yards. Down, up, blocked. Bruins block it. We're going to overtime. We're going to overtime. For the first time in 66 years, SC and UCLA are going to extra periods. See you in a minute.
Do you ever just have one of those days? Well, at Farmers Insurance, everything we do is about getting things back to normal. Isn't that what insurance is supposed to do? Farmers, get you back where you belong.
For some time, I've been trying to figure out how I could thank all of you people who have sent me best wishes and your prayers for my recent battle with prostate cancer. It has meant a great deal to me to be hearing from so many of you. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Pennzoil for this time. I also want to tell all you men, please go have your PSA checked.
Join Arnie's Army and fight prostate cancer.
You're watching the best of USC and UCLA football on Fox Sports West 2.
For the first time ever in the USC-UCLA series, we're going to overtime. Now, each team will get an opportunity, and we'll keep going till we get a winner. First down at the 25, USC gets it first, UCLA deferred. Up the middle, DeLon Washington gets 2, maybe 3. Quickly, Tom, here are rules.
Take a look. You got the coin toss naturally. McNown went out for the coin toss for the Bruins, won the toss, decided to defer. Take defense first, which is the philosophy a lot of teams pick in overtime. Each team will get a possession at the opposition 25-yard line, and the team that scores first has to go back on defense and hold their opponent.
Second down and 8. SC's been in this situation before. They played well against Arizona State. Koffler looking, throwing, got a man, Soward, intercepted by UCLA. The Bruins intercept with Anthony Cobbs. Which means this, the Bruins will get the ball. Let's wait a minute. Let's wait 1 second. There's a flag down at the 14, and I think it's against UCLA, and the Trojans have new life. That would have spelled death for USC right there. But this is going to go against the Bruins, I think, at the 14.
During the play, holding by the defense. It's a 10-yard penalty.
Oh, Trojans catch a huge break here. It'll be an automatic first down when UCLA was going to get the football, and all they needed was a 3.
This is what happens. Koffler trying to force the ball to number 18, gets burned right here. Anthony Cobbs, another Long Beach Pauley grad, a great high school program down in Long Beach. A huge play that time by AC, but more than that, it's 10 yards from the spot of the foul on a defensive hold, any sort of holding penalty.
They're putting it down at the 14.
Exactly. They get the ball inside the 15. And
first down for the Trojans. Koffler again. On the move. Koffler will throw. Looking. Throwing end zone. No, incomplete. This could be a close play, too. We saw a call go against UCLA with McElroy. Let's take a look and see if Sermons did indeed not get a foot in bounds. It'll be second down.
Well, again, the referee right on the play, and Sermons, their best receiver, leading up to this game. Without question, R.J. Sauer, the best receiver for the Southern Cal team now, and possibly going into the history books. Referee right there, you see.
Second down. Couldn't see.
A lot of action going on out of bounds.
Second down for SC. Out of the offset eye. Bastianelli in motion. They're going to keep it on the ground with DeLon Washington. Now cutting it on the inside. It'll be third down as the Bruins maul him at the 8. Paul Guidry and Brian Wilmer in there for UCLA. Interesting call coming up now for Mike Riley and USC. You don't want to turn it over. You're within relatively easy field goal range. But you got to be thinking touchdown, and that the other team's going to be able to put one in.
You don't want to settle for a field goal in overtime. You don't want to settle for a field goal in overtime. I tell you what Mike Riley's thinking right now. John Allred is the man.
Great call.
John Allred is your guy you go to.
And he's your target. Number 89, Koffler, looking, plenty of time, incomplete. DeLon Washington was alone.
That's inexperience at the quarterback position right there. You can play with mirrors for so long, and then you have to make some throws. Right there, Koffler has to make this throw. DeLon Washington, he fires the ball high and behind him. And they had an opportunity out there. They had a blocker out in front of Washington. Washington very frustrated there. Koffler a little frustrated. You just saw Brad Otten in street clothes come and say something to Matt Koffler, but again, Abrams called out. See if he can't get the ball up this time.
25 yards. It'll be down at the 15. Adam Abrams. Kick is good. And the Trojans get on the board. They put 3 up. And now UCLA must match or do better.
But think about this. The time that we've just had while SC was on offense, Bob Toledo and Al Borges have been on that sideline. They've been picking plays that they feel are going to be winners in OT.
UCLA now will get a crack at it. Will turn right around, and SC will go on defense. And here they come. Claiborne, Kennelly, Russell, Knight. They've got some great players. Here's your field goal.
Well, this time Southern Cal does a good job blocking the middle, because last time it was just a sieve and everyone came through there. Abrams this time a little happier.
UCLA first down at the 25. They come out with Skip Hicks, the single set. You turn the ball over, SC wins. Reeve in motion. Up the middle it goes to Skip Hicks. Bounces outside, he fumbled, and he fell on it. Just as we were saying, Hicks hasn't laid it down all afternoon, and he did it there, but it went right back to him. Sammy Knight was there again.
Sammy Knight again. Stellar afternoon. Skip Hicks, though, not the time to go lawn bowling, overtime, and you need a 3 at least. And as you said, Bjorn Burton, they're in his range right now.
But it's still a 42, 43 yarder if you don't get any of it.
Exactly.
41-38 SC. We're in overtime. Second down. They're going to run it again. Hicks, interesting call down to the 22. Now it would be a 39-yard field goal. And Claiborne the stop.
Same play. They got down inside the 1 on their possession, and their last possession in regulation. Just a quick draw, trying to again hit the heart of that Southern Cal defense.
3-yard gain on the carry. Third down
almost
at 7.
able to break it. You can count on a pass this time. Derek Ayers again lining up in the backfield.
On third down, McNown throwing, incomplete. So it's going to be a long field goal for Merton.
Eric Scott, the intended receiver.
And the Trojans look good right here. Up 3, and it's a 39-yarder now for Bjorn. And if he wanted to be in the clutch, he's got one right now.
Yeah, what happens, they're just trying to get a quick out. That would not have even been good for a first down had it been completed. So, right.
40-yard field goal to extend it. Same situation holds, and now USC to ice Bjorn Merton. We'll call a timeout. And as we mentioned again, it's never come down to this kind of a situation for Bjorn Merton. We're going to take a break. When we come back, UCLA will try to extend the game here on Fox.
Were you there when Sibowitz was betrayed? Were you there when Kelly said goodbye? I'm leaving the job. This summer, be there from the beginning. Starting August 19th, FX presents NYPD Blue 5 nights a week.
Please help me.
The original cuts, starting with episode 1. It's the best primetime on cable. Every weeknight on FX, Fox Gone Cable. August 19th is day 1.
He said he wakes up in the morning and never makes his bed.
Yeah, someone else makes it.
Not again!
Breakfast in bed.
Room service.
Man, life on the road.
Living like kings.
We should have been Fox Sports News guys.
Yeah, probably be in New York right now.
I will get him.
Fox Sports News, we are there after the game to cover your home team, the Dodgers, only on Fox Sports West 2.
You're watching the best of USC and UCLA football on Fox Sports West 2.
Trying to relax his kicker is Coach Bob Toledo. Bjorn Merton, wonderful, wonderful kid. Never been in this situation before. The clutch kick of his life right here, trying to extend things for UCLA. He'll boot it right on the 30-yard line. It'll be a 40-yard attempt. He's 3 for 5 from this distance.
And Merton has had a hot hand at times this entire year. Remember, an All-American after his freshman year in 1993. Struggled through the sophomore year, but he's made 55 of 80 field goals, .688 percentage over his career. 25 of 26 inside of 30, 42 of 50 inside of 40. So let's call it 40. 84% flip, but you know what? None of that matters.
He needs to split those.
None of that matters.
The 5-year drought is over for the Trojans. Merton gets set. Segoyan will hold. Ball down. Kick up. It is good. Bjorn Merton, we're going to another overtime.
I think right now it actually goes back in UCLA's favor here because the Trojans have struggled offensively. They got bailed out by a defensive holding call in the first overtime. What ends up happening now, and they have a weak field goal kicker. The Bruins have a very strong field goal kicker. It may come down to that again. I think now, though, both offenses, Riley and Borges, have had an opportunity to see what the defenses are played against them. Merton right there just splits the heart.
I think, as far as UCLA is concerned, I think if, well, they will get another chance, quite obviously. They won't come out nearly as conservative as they did the last time, even if they only need a 3. I think they'll get more aggressive.
Well, they'll come out and throw on first down.
Absolutely.
I think McNown has, you know, he's capable of that, but I think what you do, you may come out and waggle. You may come out and play action because you've set it up that way.
Well, again, you don't know who's going to get the ball first here. After every overtime, you're going to reflip it. So USC wins it this time. So now the Bruins get an opportunity on offense first. And will stay at the same end of the field. I feel sorry for the people in the other end zone right now. They're missing a lot of excitement.
You know what I would do, though? If I was Southern Cal, I'd end up, I wouldn't put my defense back out on the field. I think they were out on the field the entire second half. They got to be winded. They got to be tired. The UCLA offense is just, they knew what they just did. They come in confident because Merton just hammered a 40-yard field goal. I think now, if you're UCLA, you come out and you throw on first down, obviously.
Bruins have the ball first and 10 at the 25. We're tied at 41 as we move into the second round of overtime. UCLA fought back dramatically, down 38-21 in the fourth quarter. And Skip Hicks scoring a touchdown late. SC had a chance to win. The Trojans, Adam Abrams had a kick blocked with just seconds remaining. Both teams trade field goals in the first overtime, and the Bruins have it here. And first and 10 at the 25.
And Phil, the Bruins line up in their ace formation, 2 tights, 2 wides, 1 back. Do a lot of play action and waggle out of this formation.
They're going to give it to Hicks again anyway. And up the middle he goes. Skip Hicks, first outside. Skip Hicks going for the end zone. Skip Hicks, touchdown, UCLA! When he wants to be, there is nobody more big time than Skip Hicks. 25-yard touchdown run, and the Trojans know what they have to do. Merton will be on to add the extra point.
This is why I said when your defense is on the field forever and a day, the determination by Skip Hicks, the wheels keep rolling, and the little steam engine just keeps on chugging because Hicks motors into the end zone. Second overtime, Toledo's happy.
Merton, this is big. Down, up, good. We're staying right here. So the Bruins score on their second overtime, a touchdown. This place is absolutely rocking, as we mentioned again. One of the classics. And isn't it ironic that in a year when both teams come in without a winning record, nothing on the line to speak of.
Watch the push the offensive line gets. They really crush their guys up front. Sean Stewart leading the way. He's a Pac-10 academic All-American guy or Pac-10 All-Conference All-American. Now the crowd gets into it. That's a great run by Hicks, who kept his legs driving.
Koppler brings them up for the Trojans. They need a touchdown. Matt gives it up. Washington. Up the middle he goes to the 20, now down to the 19-yard line. Darren Klein, the tackle for UCLA. It'll be second down and 4. Good play on first down.
This is where you hope you don't get a penalty, as was the first overtime. Southern Cal might have been a little bit in a problem situation had they not gained the defensive holding call on third down.
Second down. Long 3 for SC.
Bruins still Rocky Long wanting to blitz in this situation.
Koppler will throw on play action. Good protection. Now he'll run with it. Koppler up the middle. He's going to be short of the first down. Koppler, a little inexperienced running the football that time, had all sorts of time. Tucked it pretty quickly, and Philip Ward made the play. Third down for the Trojans. They need to get to the 15 to extend it.
Again, overwhelming for Koppler. He gets pushed into the game. Otten's injured. Right there, he's running into his own man. And Phil Ward, the senior outside linebacker, putting the clamps on him right there. But Koppler, in his career, facing the biggest down of that career.
Yeah, he had to sidestep Kenny Bowen. Bruins showing blitz, and Koppler calls a timeout. We'll take a break. When we come back here on Fox Sports West, John Robinson's team faces a third down in overtime. In the plaid shirt.
Oh, my.
And John, one of the great coaches of all time in college and pro, and everybody who's ever been associated with the USC program knows what a big win this has to be for SC. There's the courageous quarterback for Troy, Brad Otten. Only able to watch as his backup, Matt Koppler, faces a third down and 3. The Trojans can get a first down at the 15. Now remember, the Bruins scored a touchdown on a Skip Hicks 25-yard run on their turn in this overtime, so the Trojans must match.
UCLA having the crowd on its feet behind them also. Southern Cal's been awfully quiet.
They're going to call a 3rd and 4. In motion, Soward. Koppler, back, throwing. Soward's open. Drops it. He's made all the plays today, but he didn't make that one. It's 4th down.
The number 3 jumps out. He's caught 3 touchdowns today, but on third down, he can't come down with the most important catch of the day. out of the fingertips of Sauer.
Here comes the game for SC. Will they score? Will they get a first? If the Bruins hold them, they will have come back and won one of the most dramatic games in their history. 4th down and 4. Sauer in motion. Koffler looking. Chase throws it into the air. The Bruins win!
Excited right now. I tell you what, you're seeing some dejected players walk off the field for Southern Cal, but you're seeing absolute jubilation on the side of UCLA.
In one of the most exhilarating, heart-wrenching, dramatic wins in the history of this series, the Bruins of UCLA come all the way back, and in overtime, beat the Trojans of USC in overtime, 48-41 for their 6th win in a row. We come back to wrap it up on Fox Sports West after this.